Alright, and I think we are now live. What's going on, folks? Welcome back to another podcast here. We are live once again. Took a week or two hiatus off, but we have returned. You guys know the drill if you've been here before. I'm going to let the people know that we are live quickly. And we shall begin with questions. So, I'm going to let the people know. Give me 1 second, folks. And make sure to hit the like button if you enjoy the content. If you're watching the recording or watching it live, it's greatly appreciated. And of course, hit the sub button if you haven't already. It's greatly appreciated as well. Give me a second here. Got a lot to discuss, folks. A lot of anime topics, power scaling, you name it today. And as well as IRL if you guys have those kind of questions as well. Which some of you do, by the way. So, I'm going to let the people know real quick that we are live. Sorry for that noise. There, should stop now. Give me 1 second, folks. Give me 1 second. And we shall begin. A lot has taken place in the anime world, that's for sure. A lot has taken place. Things we must discuss. Alright, folks, let us begin. Let's see, so you guys got a few questions. Oh, someone asked a question. Did you get my message on Discord about doing video chats for tonight? I'm going to have to set that up ahead of time. I wouldn't want to do that on the fly. But that will be soon. It will be very soon. I want to have possibly a co-host for that to help me manage that as well. But any questions you guys have, feel free to ask. Super chat questions take priority even over these pre-live stream questions. So if you have questions with super chats, I shall answer those first. What's going on, Kedrick? Alright, so first topic of the day. And I thought this was interesting based off what I've been kind of researching lately. You got DMS Kakashi versus Fused Momoshiki, right? And I think DMS Kakashi is a quite misunderstood character power scaling wise, I'd say. Here's why. Let's break this down, alright? So what makes this a contentious topic is the feats DMS Kakashi had against a powered up Kaguya, right? Black Zetsu stated that she got exponentially times stronger at a certain point within this battle. He was able to speed blitz and significantly damage her before she could seemingly even react, right? So in the anime specifically, you could see her arms not even move when he blitzes her, right? So that kind of establishes a speed superiority over Kaguya. However, what people don't realize is that there's actually an anti-feat for DMS Kakashi's speed in the manga and the anime. When Kaguya throws an ash bone, right, at him, he's able to react in time to Kamui himself and makes himself intangible, right? But he wasn't able to make the Susanoo tangible in time, which implies inferiority, right, compared to her combat speed. So his reaction speed, there's combat speed. Her ash bone was able to get to him before he could react in time to make him and his Susanoo intangible. He was able to make himself intangible in time, but not his Susanoo, which establishes inferiority to her combat speed, right? So from both these events, the anti-feat and the feat for Kakashi's speed, you could extrapolate from that and conclude that there isn't a vast gap in overall speed. They're both able to damage each other. Well, technically, she damaged his Susanoo, but they're able to tag each other, right? So there's that. What's going on, Sean? Thanks for coming in. We're just doing some power scaling. So from that, you can establish some level of relativity as far as speed is concerned. Yes, you could say Kakashi's feat was more impressive because she didn't even fucking move when he blitzed her. However, she was able to tag him, meaning her combat speed is adequate in speed to tag him, despite his reaction times being superior to hers. So keep that in mind. So, where was I here? From this, you could say, like I said, they are relative in overall speed, right? They're able to tag each other. That's something that we see, empirically speaking. They're able to tag each other. So now you must assess and compare Kaguya to Fused Momoshiki, right? So here you can't compare them empirically. There's nothing to do that, right? All we can go based off of are narrative implications. And from that, we can only establish a rational argument, rather than an empirical one based off objective visual data. We don't have that, right? Because we don't, from my knowledge, we don't ever see them interact and fight, at least in canonical literature, at least to my knowledge. So in my estimation, the best way to assess this is to look at the fact that Kaguya was stated to be fearful of Momoshiki and Kinshiki. And Momoshiki, when he speaks of Kaguya, he kind of speaks of her as if she were his subordinate or inferior. Every time she speaks of her, he's like, where is Kaguya? Where the fuck is she? He said to Sasuke later on when he goes to confront Naruto during the Chunin exams in Boruto. He kind of has that same demeanor, right? So that's from that we can extrapolate a narrative implication and say, well, he seems to look down on her, right? He seems to look down on her, and at bare minimum, him and Kinshiki seem to be the superior entity in comparison to Kaguya, with him being seemingly so confident about dealing with Kaguya. He came down there to bring her disobedient and rebellious ass back, right? That's what it seemed like to me. That was one of the objectives. That's why he kept asking for Kaguya. Where's Kaguya? Right? If he was at a level of relativity with her, he wouldn't have that sort of demeanor. Again, that's headcanon, but I think it's a solid rational argument. So continuing on. Furthermore, so now we're going to talk about Fused Momo. We can also claim, since Momoshiki absorbed Kinshiki, right, when he was fighting Naruto and the Kage and Sasuke, it is only rational to conclude that Fused Momo is superior to simply base Momo and Kinshiki working in conjunction. That's something we can establish rationally, because if Kinshiki and Momoshiki were greatly powerful, working in conjunction, Momoshiki wouldn't have to absorb Kinshiki. Momoshiki did that because he knows absorbing Kinshiki means overall he has better odds of defeating Naruto and Sasuke, which is why he did it. Meaning, Fused Momo is superior to Kinshiki and Momoshiki in conjunction, superior to the duo working together in an individual fashion, right? So from that we can power scale that, I think we can say safely. So now we got to compare DMS Kakashi to Fused Momo. So basically the previous point is, you can safely assume Fused Momo is superior to Kaguya even with an exponential increase in power, right? She was so fearful of the clan she had to build an army. So the fact that that took place and the fact that it's narratively implied, literally I believe it was on some sort of stone tablet that they're relative, right? It had base Momo, Kaguya, and Kinshiki down here, Ishiki up here. There's enough to extrapolate from that and conclude a level of relativity, and from that you can transitively say, well, Fused Momo must be superior to Kaguya if it's established narratively, at least implied narratively, that she's relative to Momoshiki himself. I think that's a safe train of thought. So continuing on, like I said, the most challenging part is the whole Kakashi feat thing, right? DMS Kakashi's speed is relative to some degree, like I said, to a powered up Kaguya. So DMS Kakashi's speed, the question is it relative to Fused Momo? Well, I've established at least safely that Fused Momo is superior to Kaguya, including the powered up Kaguya. So the best way you can kind of argue this is from an inductive standpoint, not deduction, because there's nothing empirical to deduce anything. You got to make an inductive argument, right? So this is what I would say. I would just say, based off the power cliffing from Shippuden to Boruto, the narrative implications made, and the fact that Kaguya was fearful of Momo and Kinshiki, you could validly conclude Fused Momo would most likely be DMS Kakashi. Thanks, Sean, for the $5. Appreciate it, brother. Just saw it right now. I wasn't looking at the chat, so sorry if I took a while to answer. Appreciate the $5. So, in conclusion to Fused Momo versus DMS Kakashi, narrative implications seem to favor Fused Momo, right? Despite DMS Kakashi's impressive feats against an powered-up Kaguya. Again, it's all ambiguous, and there's nothing empirical to concretely say who would win, but rationally it seems Fused Momo would. Let's see here. What's going on, Nuke? Do you think Kakashi can retrieve Sasuke from the Sound 4? If it's him one against 4, plus the possibility that he could face Kimimaro, I would say it's tough to assess where he's at. he's superior to Zabuza, right? I would say it's a possibility. It's hard to kind of quantify where he's at. You can compare him to Zabuza. He's clearly superior to Sasuke and Naruto and Sakura at that point. And he's quite ahead of all the Genin, clearly. It's a possibility, I would say. There's no way to kind of definitively say what would happen, but I would say yes, it's possible that he could retrieve Sasuke. It's possible. Fighting Sasuke himself, right, with the CS amp and the mental amp, that's still tend to lean towards Kakashi, but again, it's ambiguous. So, all right, so let's see what other questions were pre-established. All right, Sean, you asked a question and you paid, so I'll answer your question. Yamato versus Asuma. Yamato versus Asuma. If it's base Yamato versus Asuma, it's a good question. We really don't have any feats for Yamato, and I know he has that War Arc feat where I think he's controlling some sort of vessel and kind of pushing the Shinobi Alliance back. Rationally, I would say Asuma. He was able to somewhat contend with Hidan. One-on-one, I think he would have a good chance of winning. I don't think Yamamoto could do that. I don't think so. I would lean towards Asuma. Just off the top of my head. Alright, see what other questions were pre-asked. Again, folks, if you super chat and then ask a question, I'll answer your question first. Let's see here. And make sure to hit the like button, folks, to get us up in the algorithm if you're in here. For sure. Alright, let's see here. The next pre-live stream question that someone asked was, what if Nagato wasn't separated into 6 paths? And if it was Nagato himself who went to the Hidden Village, would Sage Mode Naruto still win? Alright, so this can be answered pretty simply. If we're talking about the Nagato that was controlling them, he was crippled. He was useless physically. So he would lose because he's crippled, he's weakened, there's nothing really he can do. He can't get off any jutsu because his body's too weak. He needs vessels, right, to distribute his chakra. So he would lose. Now, if we're talking about Prime Nagato, he's stronger than the 6 Paths of Pain, most definitely, and he would probably thoroughly defeat Sage Mode Naruto. The only event that he might lose is if he tries to theoretically absorb Sage Mode Naruto's chakra, similar to how one of the Paths of Pain did. Whatever the exact name of the absorbing path is, he turned into a toad. Nagato would turn into a toad and be defeated. Right, so that's a possible losing condition for Nagato. However, on the balance of probabilities, he would most likely thoroughly defeat Naruto. Thoroughly, with Chibaku Tensei or something. It'd be quick. So there's the answer to that question. Alright. Someone asked, this was a good question actually. Who are the top 3 designed visual characters in Naruto? So the 3 best designed characters as far as visuals. That's a good question. I would say Minato's up there. Minato visually is pretty cool. He has especially when he has his Hokage coat. It's pretty fire. It's cold. I'd say him. I would say Kakashi as well. Aesthetically speaking, he looks pretty cool. The hair, the one eye covered, gives him that sense of mystery. Yeah, so I just think aesthetically he's pretty cool looking, despite him having a normal Jonin outfit for the majority of the storyline. And trying to think of another one is difficult. There's a few guys that I like. Tobirama has some drip with the fur coat. Gucci Mink. Itachi has some swag. I think he looked cooler pre-Akatsuki. Especially when he was like in Yambu. He looked pretty cool. Who else has some swag? I guess Sasuke has some swag. Pain with the piercings and the hair and the Renegons. Pretty cool. With the Akatsuki coat fits him well. So one of those guys would be number 3. You can choose any of those guys. So, all right, folks. By the way, folks, for you guys that haven't been here before in these streams, if you want me to react to a certain video, I will for the right price. Ask me in the stream. We can negotiate a price, and I'll react to it. I'll obviously ask me first before you pay, right? So you get what you pay for. So that's just something to think about if you don't know already. How's Bleach going, my man? Honestly, I kind of haven't seen it lately. Been on the grind and sort of took a break from it. But I will return soon. I'm thinking this week I'm returning back to the grind. Not that it's a grind to watch it, but yeah. I'm going to skip the bound arc. I think I'm not going to finish it. Just continue in the main storyline. But overall, like I said before, it's pretty good. It's pretty good, and I'm definitely hopeful for Aizen's arc. You know, I want to see what Aizen brings to the table. Still my favorite character, despite only seeing him very slightly. So, all right. So, the next question someone asked. So this one is a cross-verse matchup. Mui Goku versus Mr. Mispilik. I think that's how you say his name. The guy from DC, right? So, first of all, what are these guys capable of? Mui Goku, highballing is Universal Plus. There's nothing there's nothing that I've seen to suggest that he's multiversal. I haven't seen him, manipulate several universes during battle, make him shake or anything like that. At least to my knowledge, that hasn't happened. Now, I'm going to say Mr. M because his name's hard to say. He's called the Fifth Dimensional Imp. That's what his nickname is. He is beyond our dimensions. He is a reality warper. That's his power. He's a reality warper. He seems to have no stamina deficiency. He seems to be infinite. So he can accomplish these reality warping feats endlessly. There is no stamina issue, at least from my knowledge. Mainstream Mr. M. So there's that. So this is a simple question to answer. Mr. M would fuck Mui Goku up. He could erase the universe he's in. He transcends the universe. He transcends time. He can go to different universes. I think most people in the power scaling community put him at multiversal. High complex multiversal. He's beyond 3D. He's beyond even 4D. He's beyond time. He can manipulate time-space. So he would fuck Goku up. He has many beyond universal feats. Despite how respected Goku is, he's not fucking with a reality warper. That's another level. So, all right. So let's see if you guys have any questions. If you were 18 and had to choose between plumbing or CDL, what would you do? CDL. I'm assuming that's something that has to do with trucking, like with driving trucks. Plumbing or driving trucks, I think I would get fucking, what's the word I'm looking for? Claustrophobia driving in trucks all day. I'd probably do the plumbing. It's a little more hands-on, just driving all day. But that's really that should be up to you what you desire. For me personally, I would rather do the plumbing personally. Thanks for the $2, Luis. Appreciate it. Nothing but support. Hey, appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. All super chats go back to the channel, so it's really appreciated, man. All right, you got another question. I'll answer it now. 1 hour chat with Drake, Kendrick, or J. Cole? It's a good question. My personal favorite out of those three is Drake, and objectively, he is the more successful, statistically speaking. And I've seen more of him. He seems to be more willing to converse with media. So you can pick his brain apart a little more. There are some J. Cole interviews. There's very few Kendrick interviews that I've seen. Drake seems to have a very wise soul. So they all do, but I would say Drake. So I think you learn a lot from Drake. You learn a lot from all three, but Drake the most, in my opinion. Is anime canon in your opinion? I think it is. And this is the problem with anime versus manga. There are going to be almost inevitably slight subtleties as far as differences between the anime and the manga. However, authors of manga, you can safely assume, work with people to write these animes to animate these manga for it to portray the manga. However, due to restrictions of cinema, restrictions of our own imagination, restrictions of how to properly display someone of certain power and caliber, there's going to be subtle differences. Sometimes there's some pretty significant differences. Here's a good example. Delta in the manga, right? Fuse Momo versus Delta is a debatable topic because of the differences in the manga and the anime. In the anime, if you're going based off anime, more than likely Fuse Momo whips Delta's ass, right? He was able to swap hands with both Sasuke and Naruto, was contending with both at the same time, going all out, not holding back, while Delta was fighting 6 past Naruto, right? But he was holding back. So there's more for Fuse Momo there. In the manga, Fuse Momo gets his ass whooped in Taijutsu, right? He gets his ass whooped. There is no competition there. And Delta, as we all know, did pretty well against Naruto. So there you could actually argue for Delta. So yeah, there is differences. Do I think anime is canon? I think it is canonical, even though despite the fact that it might not follow the storyline of the manga, frame by frame. So it is canonical though. Let's see here. Depends on the story. Yeah, but there's going to be almost certainly inevitable differences due to restrictions of cinema, restrictions of animation, right? And I'm assuming we're talking about where, anime that do try and portray the manga. Obviously, if it's filler and shit, that shit's not canonical, clearly, right? So. Also, manga translation from the raw Japanese manga can very well. Yeah, that's ambiguous as well, right? There's words that have several meanings and shit like that. All this universal bullshit, which I'm going to talk to you guys about today as well. All right. So there's a discussion I want to have, and this is from a video I've reacted to several about universal Kaguya and universal Naruto. So here's the first misconception that I must destroy, right? The definition of parallel. People are under the assumption, or they believe, that parallel universes means universes that mirror each other, universes that are equal in all dimensions, width, length, height, time. No, that's not what parallel universe means. That's not what it means. Parallel means, right, so maybe if I draw this, it'll help. Let's see if there's a way to draw this shit. I think there's a way I could draw on here, so I could show you guys better here. Let's see. You guys see that? I think there's a way to draw. Actually, how do you even do this shit? I'm gonna be here all day. Let me turn this shit off. Alright, I think I can use the snipping tool. Give me a second. And I'll show you what parallel means. Alright, so let's take this here. That's too small. Give me a second, folks. I'm going to display what parallel actually means, because people seem to be mistaken. Alright, so I think I can window share this shit. Give me a second. Put it right here, and then snipping tool. Alright, so you guys see this right here? Alright, so let me show you guys what parallel really means. Alright, so don't mind my face being blocked. Let me just show you guys real quick. Let me get the drawing tool here. Let's go with black. Alright, so assume this is a straight line. Alright, I can't draw a straight line here. Wait, can I? Fuck that. Let me take this shit off. Assume this is a straight line here. Okay. Assume that's a straight line. This is a straight line. Those are parallel. Assume that they're going in the exact same direction, right? Assume that these are straight and they're going in the same direction. That they're literally adjacent to each other. These are still parallel despite the difference in length here. Despite that difference in length, these both are parallel, meaning you could have universe 1 here. Let's draw over here because it's black there. You could have universe 1 here and universe 2 here. And they're still parallel despite the difference in size. Despite the difference in size, they're still parallel. Why? Because at every single point that you can traverse through, right, in a perpendicular motion, the distance is equivalent. Let's pretend that this is equivalent. I know it's fucking out of scale, but let's pretend that these are super straight. Let me try to make it look a little better. At every point, let's make it longer. At every point where it is possible to traverse both lines, the distance is equivalent. Right? And people think that lines have to be the same length for them to be parallel. That's incorrect. That is a misconception. That is not correct. So Kaguya making a parallel universe does not prove that she's making a universe at the same scale as our own. Keep in mind, lines are one-dimensional as well. Lines are one-dimensional. Let me delete all this shit. So I continue. Lines are one-dimensional, right? This is one-dimensional. There's simply length. There's no width. There's no height. Universes are multi-dimensional. So if we're presupposing that Kaguya is making a universe with the same dimensions as our own, even if they were equal in length, right? Let's say that universe 1 and universe 2 are parallel and equal in length. They could differ in other ways. The height could differ, the width could differ. So the universes wouldn't mirror each other anyway, despite them being parallel and equivalent in length. It is multidimensional. So people don't understand that. There's one guy that I was trying to get him to understand. He kept saying, well, the lines are equal length. No, they don't have to be equal length. They can be different length. And universes could still be parallel. You could have a universe of length 1 million kilometers long, and you could have another universe of length 500,000 kilometers long, and they could still be parallel despite the difference in length. It's a mathematical concept. This is not debatable. This is what parallel literally means. So that doesn't prove Kaguya is universal. It simply means that she makes universes parallel to our own. Or to Naruto's own, I should say. So I kind of wanted to clear that shit up. And that's a fact, by the way. If you don't believe me, look it up. Look up parallel lines on Google Images. There's literally fucking lines like this. Different lengths, and they're still parallel. So, yeah, let me turn that off now. So yeah, guys, I wanted to clear that up. So this whole argument of Kaguya being universal, it's not as strong as people think it is. And here's something else that I need to bring up. The word time-space, right? Time. People say that's the fourth dimension, right? That's fourth dimensional at time-space. Here's what a lot of people don't know. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, which has been proven, by the way, let me go ahead and bring up the sources so you don't think I'm just saying this out of my ass. So I'm about to say some pretty scientifically advanced jargon for the sake of this discussion. So there have been tests to prove through observational evidence Einstein's theory of relativity, right? Which proves that time is a fourth dimension in our own universe. Does Naruto have time within its universe? Clearly. Time progresses. Naruto gets older. Kakashi ages. Sasuke gets older. That proves time exists in that universe. So, essentially, what I'm saying is there's time in every universe. So, in fact, what a lot of people what they don't know is that our own universe is more than likely fourth dimensional. Where we have 3 spatial dimensions, 1 temporal dimension. The 3 spatial being length, time, width. Length, width, and height. The 1 temporal dimension being time. 3 plus 1 equals 4. They're all independent of each other. Time is not dependent on the other 3. Hence, there's 4 dimensions. So Kaguya creating a time-space does not mean that she is an extra dimension over the rest of the Naruto cast. That does not mean that. In theory, right, according to Einstein's theory of relativity, our own universe is a time-space in itself. time progresses, that dimension progresses. So she is not at another league, on some other fucking league, and she's not, definitely not multiversal. She's she's not universal, right? At least it's not concretely provable, right? It's not concretely provable. That's the point. So to sum it up, parallel does not mean equal. That does not mean equal. Either way, universes aren't one-dimensional. They're multi-dimensional. So even if they were equal, the other dimensions could differ, right? 2, our own universe is fourth dimensional. It's very likely, according to Einstein's theory of relativity, which has been tested. And again, let me go ahead and talk about these tests, which you could look up, by the way. So the first 3 tests were by Albert Einstein in 1915, right? And it has to do with the perihelion of Mercury, right? So he used that to try and, again, I'm not a fucking physicist, but he tried to do that to establish that time is a dimension. In the 1970s, scientists also began to make additional tests, specifically Erwin Shapiro, right, measuring the relativistic time delay in radar signal travel time near the sun. And in February of 2016, the Advanced LIGO team announced that they had directly detected gravitational waves from a black hole merger. So this is peer-reviewed stuff, by the way. You can look it up yourself if you don't believe me. So the point is, our own universe is fourth dimensional as well. Einstein's theory of relativity is deemed proved by many of the greatest minds on Earth that are experts in this field, right? I'm sure they're much superior to us, you know, in the power scaling anime community, unless there's fucking physicists within our anime community that don't agree with Einstein's theory of relativity, which you really can't do because tests have proven them, you know, observable evidence. So Kaguya's not universal. Naruto's not universal. Momoshiki's not universal. At least not absolutely. There's people that die by the sword when they say parallel universe, hence she's universal. No. And people try to use the Road to Ninja statement, which is not canon either. There's a statement that says the universe is mirror Naruto's universe. That's not canonical. There's blatant inconsistencies in Road to Ninja. So yeah, that's my little rant on why that universal shit is bullshit with Naruto. It's bullshit. It's not true. Time space, it's fourth dimensional. Our universe is fourth dimensional. Naruto's universe has time as well. It's fourth dimensional, according to Einstein's theory of relativity. Alright, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. That's the end of my rant. Can't believe I had to show some people what the fuck parallel means. I learned that shit in fucking 4th grade, man. Fucking 4th grade. People really thought it meant equivalent. No, the fuck it is not. Look it up. God damn. And you're a power scaler? I'm not calling anyone any individual out, just in general. How the fuck do you not know what parallel means and you're a power scaler? Or at least you think to be a legitimate one. If you don't know what the fuck that means, you're not a legitimate power scaler. Like, come on, man. I learned that shit when I was like 12. So, based off the wing scaling, Frieza didn't even have to... Oh, we're talking about Frieza? Yeah, let's talk about that now. Frieza, apparently from reliable sources, or, you know, sources that I deemed at least to be reliable, Frieza was in a time chamber for 10 years. And then he fucking one-shots, at least from what I've been told. I haven't read the manga yet. One-shots, or at least thoroughly defeats Goku and Vegeta. That's insane. And his form is called Frieza Black, right? Or Black Frieza. Let's be honest. They did that to try and negate the fact that he was racist towards fucking Saiyans, calling them monkeys. That's why they made him black, to give him the race card. Let's be honest. Toriyama, I'm on to you, brother. I'm on to you. But yeah, I wonder if there are a lot of people that think Naruto is universal. Even him, right, who's the epitome of, you know, a character in Naruto. It'd be tough to get him to universal. At best, I would say maybe galaxy level. You can put Kaguya safely at solar system level. depending on how big you believe that dimension she was going to engulf was. We saw some moons and stars, right? We can assume maybe a solar system. We could assume that. So solar system level is a safe placement. She's somewhere in between star and solar system. She's in there somewhere. But Beerus Naruto is probably ahead of her, clearly. Ishiki being ahead of her as well. Best, I would say galaxy, maybe. Again, that's all ambiguous. It's all ambiguous. So it comes down to translation bias instead of rationale. Yeah, and even saying parallel universe doesn't prove shit. They're using that translation. It doesn't matter. Some people are so adamant on saying that it's that Naruto's universal. Motherfucker, it's not. At least it's not provable. It's not. Is it impossible? No. It is very unlikely, though. Very, very unlikely. So. Alright. Alright, folks. If you guys have any questions here. Alright, let's see if you guys have any questions that I have here pre-established. Feel free to keep asking questions, folks. And hit the like button if you enjoyed that rant on fucking parallel lines. Which is elementary topics, by the way. It's elementary. It's not higher education topic. You better fucking know what parallel means coming into a college level math class. I'll tell you that. Or you're fucked. So, alright, so I have some miscellaneous ones that I think I've already answered, though. Alright, so I'll go ahead and answer your questions, folks, if you have any. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, folks. I failed my elementary school science class. That's tough. Zabuza versus Mei. Mei was able to somewhat melt Madara Susanoo, and I don't think she even melted it completely. She got her ass whooped. She was able to somewhat melt Sasuke's during the 5 Kage Summit. Besides that, she really has no feats. She's clearly the weakest one at the fight when they fight Madara. She's by far the weakest. Comparison to Zabuza, she is a Kage, but she's just fucking fodder. In respect to Mei, maybe I'll lean towards her. It's kind of hard to deduce any comparison between the two. But I'll say Mei, I suppose. Just thinking off the top of my head. Alright, folks, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Any at all. We get controversial on here. If you've seen the past podcasts, we've gone very controversial. Fuck it. It spices things up. So, anything you have, feel free to ask. Why doesn't Naruto utilize his true secret orbs or flight in Boruto? What I would say about that is that he only had them temporarily, and that he used most of them, I think all of them during the war arc. And I would say that he's unable to use them again. That he's unable to summon them again. I think that's what it was. If I had to put my finger on it, that's probably the case. And it makes sense, right? Because if he did have access to them again, he would have used them. And actually, as far as flight, he does fly one time. He flied when he saved, I think it was Boruto and some other genin from a train. He flew to it. So he does fly. Does he utilize it often? No. But he can fly. Based off that one event. I mean, yeah. Comic book questions? Yeah, but the super obscure ones, I probably can't answer. But if it's mainstream, like Batman, Spider-Man, you can probably deduce what mainstream characters are. I could probably answer. You think there would be more power skills on YouTube if there was a step-by-step guide on how to do it right? Also, who do you think there aren't more as big as Seth to begin with? Why do you think there aren't more as big? That's a good question. One, It's rigorous. It's rigorous to be a power scaler because think about it. The hardcore fans know everything. They know every minuscule fucking detail about every anime, or at least any anime that they revere and admire. So if you fuck up anything, you will be shamed for it, and you won't be respected. Swag, Seth, all those guys, they do it rigorously. They have a rigorous routine when it comes to trying to find details about certain characters that are revered, people that certain characters that people want to know more about power scaling wise. It's damn near, it's like a job. So a lot of people don't want to put the time in, read fucking manga and reread pages over and over to try to extrapolate the most minuscule of detail to expand on and make a very entertaining and interesting claim. It's not easy to do. It's not easy at all. It's very rigorous. In fact, I'm gonna be honest. Some people just don't have the necessary brain capacity and or endurance for it. Some people just miss shit. Some people don't gather implication on a high level. It's surface level to them. Doesn't mean that they're bad people or anything, but it's tougher than people think, especially when you're someone that puts out content to the public, not anime fandom. It's not easy. Seth is probably the best I've ever seen in this community. His mind works at a high level. He's been through the rigorous process many times. He understands how to make a claim based off empirical evidence, based off a rational argument, right? So that's probably why it's hard. Didn't recall that, my bad. I didn't know that either. I actually saw a video, so I don't blame you. Andrew Tate versus Jake Paul. That's a good question. Jake Paul is seasoned. Does he have the same amount of experience in striking as Andrew Tate? No. Tate has over a decade of experience at a world-class level. At least he's been a world champion. Now, is he as elite as someone like Israel Adesanya? No. He would get his ass whooped, even in his prime. He never, from my knowledge, he's never fought in the mainstream kickboxing organizations. I don't think he ever fought in Glory, and he never fought in K1, to my knowledge. He's been a world champion in another organization, which still speaks testaments. He is world-class a kickboxer, right? Several-time world champion. Now we gotta look at Jake Paul's resume. He's seasoned, he's young, he's hungry, he has power. But he's never fought a legitimate boxer. Someone that has been doing it for years on end. Someone that's only dedicated their life to boxing. He never has. He fought. These are the guys he fucking fought. A fucking YouTuber whose ass. A fucking NBA player that trained for fucking 3 months in boxing. A retired, fucked up, fat Ben Askren who had hip surgery, who didn't even train. If you ask Freddie Roach, I think Freddie Roach said he trained fucking like 1 week, and he got his ass rocked. And then Tyron Woodley, who fell off a cliff skill wise. He fell off a fucking cliff, and he's not a boxer. He is a shoot first, big right hand MMA fighter. That's what Woodley was. And by the time he fought Jake, he was a fucking shell of himself. That trigger he used to have against Robbie Lawler, against Rory McDonald, that shit died a long time ago. So he wasn't a fucking ferocious monster like he was in his prime. That being said, breaking down both guys, I tend to lean towards Tate. Because of the experience. He has the muscle memory. Jake still has holes in his game, and I've seen enough of Tate to say he's seasoned. I would lean towards Tate. I'll say that. All right. Are you posting another debate soon by chance? Actually, yes. To a very interesting topic. I would say the next couple weeks. I'll say that. Prime Nagato versus EMS Mater. EMS Mater washes the floor with him. EMS Mater would destroy him. Hokage Kakashi versus Prime Hiruzen. Battle of Statements. This is a tough one. Prime Hiruzen, at least in Part 1, Naruto was stated to be the strongest Hokage ever. A lot of people seem to believe he was retconned later on, right? Especially during the war arc when it is clearly narratively implied Hashirama was the strongest Hokage there out of the 4 that were resurrected. But then again, it was stated that he was the strongest Hokage. So what the fuck can we do? in my opinion, feats triumph statements. So I tend to believe it was retconned. Um, but then someone could counter me and say, well, that wasn't him in his prime. That was an old ass man. Okay, that's fair. But do you mean to tell me that he went from being the strongest Hokage ever to being a weak bitch in comparison to Hashirama? Was the fall off that hard? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. So I would say now we gotta talk Hokage Kakashi. Here's the problem, right? The novels are now considered non-canonical by a majority of the anime fandom. It's growing because of one writer of the novels saying that the one and only truth. I talked about in another video. The one and only truth is the manga, and she wrote the Sasuke Rikutsu novels, and she's fucking saying they're not canon. So all those fucking statements that we could have used for Hokage Kakashi are non-canonical by the person who wrote it. Considered to be non-canonical by the person who fucking wrote the novel, who worked alongside Kishimoto, who illustrated it. And some people will say, well, Kishimoto illustrated it. Why would Kishimoto not refute what she said if it was canonical? I'm sure he knows of the person. They worked together. Why wouldn't he go out of his way and say, no, they are canonical because I drew it? He never, for my knowledge, he never fucking said shit to anybody. So all we could assume is that it's non-canonical. So that being said, it's hard to kind of gauge where Kakashi's at. It's very hard. Rationally, he's definitely weaker than DMS. There's no way he's on that level. No way. Especially if the novels are considered non-canonical. He's retired, meaning his skills are probably depleted. He's chilling. He seems to be on vacations most of the time. I would say probably Prime Hiruzen if we presuppose that he was the strongest Hokage ever up until Naruto. Probably Prime Hiruzen. If you're under the presupposition that he was retcon though, then probably Kakashi, based off his feats in the war arc. I would lean towards Kakashi. So there you have it. It's a tough one to assess though. There's a lot. Both of these guys have a ton of ambiguity. There's a ton of ambiguous shit when it comes to them. So, weakest DBZ character who could solo the Naruto verse. Weakest. I don't know. Let's see. Krillin, you'd fucking destroy them now. Trying to think of a weak character these days. Weakest I can think of is probably Krillin. I think he stalemated a Goku, Super Saiyan Blue Goku in Dragon Ball Super. He stalemated his Kamehameha. That's enough to fucking solo everyone in fucking Naruto for sure. So I would say Krillin. That's the best I can think of off the top of my head. Nate Robinson, regardless of fighting ability, is the size of a high school freshman. Yeah, he's 5'8". Probably a buck 70. Never threw a punch in his fucking life. Yeah, that was no feat. That was no feat. Now, Limbo probably means a weakest fighting character. Let's see here. Do you think chakra and stuff like Genjutsu will consistently work in other verses? It's hard to really claim whether it would or wouldn't, right? How would Ki interact with chakra, right? Let's say if Dragon Ball character fights a Naruto character. Would someone with Genjutsu be able to affect someone that doesn't have chakra? They have Ki, right? So the physiology of the characters themselves is greatly different. And the way the worlds operate from a physics standpoint could said to be different as well. There's so many factors that could play a role. The best you could do is gauge their feats, power scaling wise, right? Goku shakes the universe when he fights Beerus. Naruto has a tough time dealing with someone that cuts the moon in half. Well, not a tough time. He kind of whips his ass in the end, Toneri. But so you could safely assume someone of Goku's caliber would most likely win, rationally. So, all right, folks, feel free to keep asking questions. Hit the like button as well if you haven't already. Gets us up in the algorithm. Gets more people viewing our stuff. Feel free to ask sports questions as well. I like the one boxing. I enjoy those as well. Anything you want to ask, feel free. Genjutsu would not work on Gojo no matter what, though. Yeah, he does have perception manipulation. Alright, folks. Any questions you guys may have? Super chats will get your question to be prioritized, of course. By the way, if you want to see extra content, become a member of the channel. You get badges, shit like that. I do have members only stuff, so feel free to join. If you become a member, it's greatly appreciated. Beer and Naruto versus Edo Itachi. I know that Naruto is way stronger, but does he have a way to kill an Edo Tensei? Yeah, that's the problem with Edos, right? They have to be sealed. Theoretically, a Beerus Naruto contains 6-pass chakra similar to Jubito, who was able to fuck people up and they couldn't heal again. Theoretically, he might be able to make Itachi just disappear. I know he had to use true Seeking Orbs, right, to do it, Jubito. But theoretically, it could be possible. If not, can he just send him away? I don't know. He'd have to just restrict him, which he could do easily. How far does Spider-Man get in My Hero verse? I'm not familiar with My Hero, so I wouldn't be able to answer that, truthfully. But that's on my bucket list, though, to be fair. I'd have to keep reading the Jujutsu manga, because I'm not sure about that. How far does Spider-Man get in? Okay, I just read that. Old Hiruzen versus War Kage. Hiruzen was stated to be the strongest of the 5 Kage, so I would still lean towards Hiruzen, who is Sanin level, arguably slightly above, with the Kage being around it. So I would lean towards Hiruzen. An insane battle would be Damon versus Hidan, but Hidan had Damon's blood. But if Hidan had Damon's blood, you mean? How would that work? I don't believe Hidan gets stronger based on the person he takes blood from. He simply just continues to satisfy Jashin, right? So I would say Damon would fucking destroy him. So if you're asking what would happen if he took a cyborg's blood, do cyborgs even have blood? That's another question. I don't know. If you guys remember a panel where one of the cyborgs bleed, let me know. And I wonder how that would work, because it's technically not an organic entity that you're destroying, right? What's the dumbest argument you've ever heard for a versus debate? Oh, I've heard plenty. Let me give you a few. It's a good question. So I was debating some of you have probably seen my debate. I was debating Batman versus Iron Man. It's on my channel. So we were arguing intelligence, right? I was establishing Batman's intelligence. I was saying that he outsmarted Brainiac, who's a 12th level intellect. Iron Man's never done something of that caliber. That's what I was stating. The dumbass says, we're not talking about Brainiac. We're talking about Batman. I was like, are you fucking stupid? I'm establishing Batman's intelligence with this such said feat that involved Brainiac, you fucking dumbass, to compare his intelligence to a 12th level intellect. And he kept saying, we're not talking about Brainiac. That's what his dumbass argument was. That was really stupid and frustrating. Another dumbass argument that happened within that same debate. I brought up the fact that Batman defeated Darkseid, right, who is a bare minimum galaxy level because he takes over sectors of the universe. And there's versions of Darkseid that are universal plus, some that are multiversal, if you really read into the Omega Beam literature. I said, what's the strongest opponent Iron Man ever defeated? And I know he wasn't going to bring up Celestials, right, because he's stupid, the guy I debated. He said the strongest person he defeated was himself. And I said, okay, what do you mean by that? He said he battled alcoholism. I was like, bro, are you fucking serious? We're talking about how strong someone is. I don't give a fuck about their inner mental demons. That doesn't fucking mean shit. He's like, he battled alcoholism. What the fuck does that have to do with how strong someone is? So that was really fucking stupid. That really pissed me off. That was a horrible debater. He was fucking awful. So that was very frustrating. I had to teach him how to debate while I was fucking mopping the floor with him. While I was destroying him, I had to teach him how to debate. It was fucking terrible. Some other arguments, some other debates that you guys haven't seen. I'm trying to think. I've debated many people, obviously not recorded as well, just for their privacy as well. trying to think of a bad argument that I remember. Let's see here. I think there was one. It was a girl. I'm not, obviously you guys don't need to know her name or anything. We were debating dating culture and what men and women want, red pill shit, right? And she kept saying my truth, and I said no. There's one objective truth. There is no my truth. Truth is not subjective. If truth was subjective, society would fall apart. Doctors wouldn't be trusted. Lawyers wouldn't be trusted. Fucking people wouldn't trust driving cars because they don't know what cars are made of. Like, there's one fucking truth. And she wouldn't understand that. And then she started saying facts don't matter. I was like, what do you mean facts don't matter? She's like, facts doesn't matter to me. I'm like, what do you mean they don't matter? She kept claiming that objective fact doesn't matter while I was giving her objective fact. And she just kept giving me her emotional bullshit based off her appeal to emotion, which is fallacious. That really upsetted me as well. So there's some crazy shit, man. There's some crazy shit. You'll be surprised. It's funny because Batman isn't even the smallest in his universe consistently. I remember you reacted to that video. Which video? Alcoholism would be an anti-feat, if anything. Yeah, because Iron Man has less mental fortitude. He's been broken more than Batman has. Batman's been broken too. Iron Man is easier to break. So it's fucking stupid. Does Dr. Manhattan solo Dragon Ball Super? From what I know of him, I think he's multiversal. So I think the only person that would contend with him would be Zeno himself. From what I know. Seijimo Jiraiya with Mom and Paul versus Suigetsu. That's a good one. Now the question is, how strong is Suigetsu? Because we can't exactly go based off his fight with Sasuke because he was holding back. I kind of lean towards Sage Jiraiya with Mom and Paul, to be honest. But then again, there's two sides. It all depends on what established presupposition you have. If you believe Suigetsu was holding back, his speed was still relative to his Edo phase, which I don't tend to agree with. Edos are nerfed, but I do think he was more nerfed to sick because he had no stamina. He was dying as he was fighting. I lean towards Jiraiya with Mom and Pa. If it's against the sickest Itachi that we see, which is against Sasuke before he's about to die, I'll lean towards Jiraiya. If it's alive Itachi, no, he gets fucked up by Itachi. Feelings over facts, stupidity. Exactly. You don't know how many times I've had to tell someone that during debates, specifically red pill debates with females. Facts don't give a fuck about your feelings, dude. I'm sorry. Which of the three live action Spider-Man is the strongest? Here's a feat that most people don't know that someone in my own Discord pointed out. So shout out to you. You know who you are. At the end of Spider-Man, the newest Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire stops a bloodlusted Tom Holland from killing Green Goblin. Bloodlusted. The motherfucker was going to stab him with his glider. In Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire stopped him, indicating superiority in strength and overall caliber as a Spider-Man. So I would say he's superior to that of Tom Holland. Now, as far as fucking Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, I would have to think of feats to establish where he's at. I tend to believe Tom Holland's still the strongest. He has the most experience. Rationally, it makes sense. So I'll probably say Tom Holland Spider-Man. Alright, folks. Any other questions you may have? Anything at all? As controversial as possible. Why not? Fuck it. The worst arguments ever are for Dragon Ball Roshi not being moon level, even though he blew up the moon. Exactly, yeah. That's fucking stupid. He's clearly moon level or above. By the way, folks, if you want to see me react to red pill shit, I have it on my members only. I don't really want to post it on my main channel. because I want to keep, you know, the niche consistent. But if you want to see me react to red pill stuff, become a member and you can see it. Why does it even exist to begin with? What's going on, Ivanov? Thanks for coming in. Strongest celebrity you could beat up? That's a good question. Okay, assuming there's no weapons, if I had to be objective with my capabilities as far as combat, let's think. Strongest celebrity. I'm trying to think. Let's think of celebrities I probably could beat. Most actors, probably. The Rock, obviously not. He's too big. I'd have to get lucky. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I'd fuck up Tom Cruise. I'd fuck up Brad Pitt, but they're older. The younger guys. Trying to think. The big guys would be a problem, right? If they're like The Rock and shit. But those are outliers. Jason Momoa is big as shit. I'd have to use my hands. My hands probably are superior, as far as skill-wise, at least. Because of my time that I did grew up doing it. Most actors, I'd say. Most rappers, I guess you could say. I'd definitely fuck up Meek Mill. His fucking. If you guys have seen him hit a bag, it's fucking pathetic. I'd fuck up Meek Mill. I'd fuck up Drake probably in a fight. His boxing work is subpar. I mean, he's not a boxer per se. The Baby would be tough. He has a outside street experience. He's probably very gritty and probably fights dirty. I mean, that's a testament to him fighting in the streets. He'd be a rough one. So yeah. Jay versus Tate. Tate's world class, right? With my fucking ass, to be honest. Polo G. I think I'm familiar with him. If he's just a regular rapper, I'd fuck him up. You're gonna watch the new Dragon Ball movie? Yeah. I haven't seen it yet. I definitely want to see it. Maybe I'll do it on my Discord. I have a watch party. Join my Discord if you would like to see that. Lil Uzi, I'd fuck up Lil Uzi. He would have even touched me, to be honest. Yeah, he's tiny. He barely has any boxing experience, at least in comparison to myself. But. All right. Jay can beat up Vin Diesel. He's pretty big. I'd have to be strategic against Vin. He's a big dude. Let's see here. Could Madara's Limbo clones walk through Gojo's infinity because they exist in another dimension? That's a good question. I don't know enough about Gojo yet to really answer that. As far as it being in other dimensions, my question is, would he still be able to control Limbos in other dimensions? Did we ever get to see that? I'm not sure. Do you agree with red pill stuff in general? So here's my take on red pill for you guys that don't know. There are inevitable and undeniable differences between men and women. So let's talk about the dating shit first. There is definitely an optimal way to deal with women. In my opinion, is an optimal way. And the red pill community, guys like Tate. Here's the thing about Tate. He uses a lot of satire as well. Not everything he says he means. And it's up to us to kind of decipher that. Obviously, if you're biased towards him, you're going to think he means it. He's like, oh, he's saying that all women can't drive. He's obviously using satire. There's some honesty to it, but he's using satire. So go back to what I was saying, though. There's inevitable biological truths about men and women that a lot of people just tend to ignore. Men, what do they look for, biologically speaking? To get your foot in the door as a woman, it's attraction and beauty, right? That's the first thing men look for. Women shame guys for that. If a girl's fat and the guy's not attracted to her, he's a piece of shit, misogynist asshole. No, you're fat as fuck and you're unhealthy. You're nasty. That's what the fuck it is. It's not because he's a misogynist. He's not attracted to an unhealthy, out of shape bitch. That's what it is. Same thing if a guy's broke. Is the girl a piece of shit for not being attracted to a broke bum? No. Biologically, she doesn't want that. That's what the fuck it is. She wants a successful, dominant, in shape, confident man. That's what the fuck she wants. People don't want to accept that reality. They're like, oh, every girl's a queen, every girl's a 10. Fuck no. And every guy's not a king. You know, that's what the red pill is saying. Yeah, it might be brutally honest. It might hurt your feelings. Facts don't care about your feelings, right? So I agree with most things. Let me give you something I probably don't agree with. There's some extreme individuals in the red pill community that go too extreme. Like saying a girl can have social media, that's too much. A girl can. I don't want you posting your ass on Instagram if you're my girl, but you can have an Instagram. I don't want your tits out on fucking Twitter if I'm your guy, but you can have Twitter, you know. So there's a balance. There has to be respect, but obviously she's a fucking human being too. So there's a balance. The other aspect that a lot of people don't see enough is that red pill people try to push men, push you, right? When a guy calls you a fat fuck in the red pill community, it's not to make you feel bad. It's to push you to improve. It's about male self-improvement. That's what the original premise of the red pill community was. It was male self-improvement. Women are a byproduct of that, right? So that's my general idea on red pill. It's about self-male improvement. That's the main thing. Vin Diesel is overweight, out of shape. Yeah, I could probably beat his ass now. He's not like in his prime, like during Fast 5 or something. He'd be slow. So, all right, folks. Tom Cruise is 5'6". Yeah, his tiny ass would get fucked up. Let's see. Feel free to keep asking questions, folks. Thanks for all the super chats, by the way, as well. Appreciate all the donations. It's greatly appreciated. And if you have any reaction requests, ask me. We can negotiate a price, and I'll do it. I've done a couple, by the way. Have you ever watched Webcam Parrot? I've heard of him. I've never seen his shit, though. See. Life experience is valuable and maturity is a godsend as well. Absolutely. What builds character is discomfort and tough times. That's what builds character. Experience builds character, right? So people want to avoid discomfort, but discomfort builds character. You know, it builds maturity, it builds all that shit. It's just important. Suffering is your friend to some extent. I'm not saying go jump off a fucking bridge, but push yourself, you know. Find out how much can you tolerate. Every human's different. Every man's different. How much can you tolerate? How hard can you push yourself? What's the limit? Figure that out. You know, you shouldn't stay at a low level, you know. 3 psychopathic characters in Naruto. Gaara Part 1, Hidan. It's another one. Gaara, Hidan. Trying to think of someone that's really psychopathic. That's another very malevolent character. Trying to think. Possibly Orochimaru, possibly, to a certain extent. I think that especially at the beginning, Part 1, Orochimaru was psychopathic. I'll say that. Malevolent, you know, very malevolent. Battle of Symbiotes, Venom versus Black Zetsu. Venom. Orochimaru. 5 Kage Summit Sasuke. I wouldn't say he was psychopathic. He was vengeful. Would I say he was malevolent? I don't think so. I don't think the core issue with Sasuke was malevolence. He wasn't invidious, right? I don't think he was invidious or malevolent. I think he was vengeful, and he had a distorted sense of justice, at least the form of justice in the modern Western world, right? I think he was distraught. I don't think he was psychopathic, though. Despite, you know, him having that evil laugh and shit. I think that was just him having his own distorted sense of justice, right? Because he had He was doing all this for Itachi, right? Justice for Itachi. Psychopaths don't give a fuck about justice. They have no conviction. So, Danzo. Danzo's another one I wouldn't consider psychopathic. Tyrannical. I would say definitely tyrannical. Selfish. He probably has some traits of a psychopath, but not all. Kind of like, good example, like Madara, right? Madara wasn't malevolent. He just had his own distorted sense of justice. Pain as well. Another example. But Hidan and Gaara were just unhinged, selfish, self-centered people. Antisocial, psychotic, malevolent. They did it because they enjoyed it. Gaara enjoyed seeing blood. Hidan literally fucking looks for blood, right? So, you can react to King Bullet ranking the strongest Genjutsu on stream if you want. I think it would be cool. On stream, since it's on stream, let me see how long the video is first. Give me a second, folks. Where is it? Okay. On stream, it's going to be fairly more. I would say if you want the reaction normally, say 20. But if it's on stream, I'd probably say, to be fair, 35. I'll do it on stream. All right, Edo Minato versus Hashirama. Edo Minato versus Hashirama. I debated this against 6 actually. I would say Hashirama still. Hashirama. It's a bit narratively implied he was the strongest, despite Minato's speed, which is something you have to quantify in comparison to Hashirama as well. Does Hashirama have? Now the question is, could he seal him? That could be problematic. I don't know if he has any sealing. He could seal. I think he could seal tailed beasts. Maybe he has something that could seal Minato theoretically. If he can't, then he could just be overwhelmed over time. I don't know. Six Gate War, Lee versus Hiruzen. Six Gate War, Lee versus Hiruzen. I know Lee cut Madara in half, right, with the taijutsu, whatever. And Hiruzen in his prime. Six Gate Lee is definitely ambiguous. I mean, he was able to throw a kunai before Night Guy could reach fucking Jubidara. I think that's a plot device, to be honest. Because then you'd have to claim that he's faster than fucking Night Guy. It's not true. That is extremely inconsistent. I'd say Hiruzen. Down to like 10. How long is it? It's 13 minutes. I'll lower a little bit. I'll say 30 on stream. 15 to react. I'll lower a little bit. 15 to react, the regular way, or 30 for stream. Because I'm like kind of not disrupting the stream, but I gotta stop and do that shit. So. Tobirama racism amp versus Kage Summit Sasuke hatred amp. Shit. I think Tobirama. Probably Tobirama. What are you reading, keeping up with right now? Bleach. A lot of DC shit and Marvel. I've been reading a lot of comics lately. A lot of comics. Just for my own entertainment, really. Maybe I'll make videos about it in the future. So those things. And then IRL shit. I'm a sports guy, combat sports. I'm always up to date with boxing, UFC, NFL, NBA, and the red pill shit for my own self-improvement reasons. And I watch a lot of debates as well. I watch a lot of debates about anything. Political, anime, philosophical, just to keep my own skills up, see the best, go at it. So those are the things I'm kind of into these days. So top 5 strongest Edos in war. Don't include Madara and the Hokages. Nagato was stated to be the strongest, I think, besides Madara. Itachi, probably the third-rate Kage. Probably those Kages that fought Temari's division, Gaara's division. Nagato, Itachi. You could arguably say Hanzo. The third-rate Kage. Maybe Mu. Maybe those guys. And the other guy was equal to him, whatever the other guy's name was. Yeah. Have you ever looked into the SCP Foundation? I've heard of it, but I've never really researched it or looked into it. Darui versus Tsunade. Oh, Boruto Darui destroys Tsunade. I mean, he has feats against in Otsutsuki, so Tsunade gets fucking washed. If it's Shippuden Darui, it's contentious. I'd probably lean to Tsunade, though. Especially War Tsunade. Yeah, War Darui probably loses to Tsunade. Yeah. There isn't enough for him to suggest he'd overcome Tsunade, especially if she's amped like she was in the War arc. Alright, folks. Other questions you may have, feel free to ask. How far would Light get with the Geass instead of the Death Note? I don't think I'm familiar with the Geass or that realm. Yeah, I don't think I've seen Code Geass. I've heard of it though, but I'm not very familiar with it. Alright, folks, let's see what you guys have here. When is your soccer video coming? I would say the next coming weeks. I've had a lot of shit to do, but it's coming. The scripting is nearly done. It's nearly done. MUI Goku versus Beerus. From my knowledge, Beerus' scaling is somewhat ambiguous still. A lot of people believe he's still stronger than Goku. Some people go based off the Battle of Gods movie and say, well, he used 70% against beginning God Goku, right? And now he's MUI Goku, much, much stronger. So it really depends on your presupposition. Do you think Beerus has he ever shown his limits? Has he gotten close to his limits? Do you think he's just at a whole nother level we've never seen before? It really depends. I tend to lean towards the side of Beerus. I just think he's at a whole different level. But again, it's all headcanon from what I know. Have you spoken with Seth 6 before? I debated 6. I've only spoken to Seth on stream, not like actually talking, but like messaging him and asking him shit. So I know 6 somewhat. We still plan on debating again. I'll be honest, I lost to 6 because I immediately after one of these streams I debated him, so I didn't prepare. He was prepared, I wasn't, so it was lack of prep time from my side. That's my fault. But I definitely want to avenge that loss. And then Swag knows of me as well. I've never talked to him before, except through streams as well. Through time, hopefully interact with them. So I kind of want to earn my stripes. I could probably message 6 now and ask him to do a collab, but kind of want to earn my stripes. You know, you gotta earn your stripes in this space. So current Konohamaru versus beginning Shippuden Kakashi. Current Konohamaru scales to Jugo, a full power, who was a problem. I'd probably say current Konohamaru. Kakashi Warwick versus Edo Itachi beats his ass, most likely. So, Daniel debated, was it recorded? I don't know. I think someone recorded it, but to be truthful, it was mostly me looking for scans. It was mostly me looking for scans because I didn't have any. He did, I didn't. So, which was kind of boring. It was silence for like 5 to 10 minute spans because I was looking for scans trying to counter his argument, and clearly he's very knowledgeable, right? So, how well do you think Kishimoto connected his story with the real world? I think the themes were very well established within the storyline. You know, the theme of hard work and dedication in Naruto was very well done. The underdog story, right? And the reality is, a lot of young men are underdogs. You know, a lot of guys live lives of quiet desperation, like Naruto did. Except his is obviously exaggerated and dramatized for entertaining purposes. Um, a lot of guys live lives of quiet desperation. If you're 19 years old, 18 years old, you got no money yet, you don't know what you're gonna do yet, you probably don't get bitches yet unless you're like top of the food chain as far as males. You got nothing yet. You're the underdog. You know, statistics are against you, unless you're a trust fund baby or some shit. You live a life of quiet desperation. You know, and Naruto teaches you, well, keep going. You know, who gives a fuck what happens? Who gives a fuck what people think? And that's real shit. You know, so Kishimoto did a great job connecting us to that world. It's extremely relatable, you know, in an intrinsic sense. Obviously not extrinsic. We're not fucking shinobi that live in a war-torn shithole like fucking, you know, Naruto did, but intrinsically, it's very relatable. So, Kabuto Part 1 versus Kakashi Part 1. Kabuto Part 1, I think Kakashi superior. Even that exchange they had, it was a verbal exchange when he caught Kabuto somewhere, and Kabuto seemed to kind of back down. Kakashi said, don't mess with adults." Seems to be the case that he's superior, even if they are relative, according to Orochimaru. Wish there was more explanation for power scaling terms and concepts on YouTube outside of those from he who should not be named, so there is less confusion and less dumb debunks from morons. I agree. Power scaling should be extrapolated on. It should be expanded on, excuse me. It should be expanded on and further explained. How to do it, what it consists of, how there is a multivariate formula when power scaling an individual. There are many variables that you must factor in, right? Narrative implication, feats, statements, what overrides what, feats override statements, depending on context. You know, all this shit matters. It's not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. It's not linear. You know, there are many angles. So, can there be more than one omnipotent character in a fictional universe? I think there is in some. DC Multiverse, there's several. In anime, I feel like it's less rare because mangas, there's usually only one continuity, right? In comic books, there's fucking hundreds of authors that can just stick in some omnipotent characters, right? In anime, it's less rare, but yes, it is possible. Do you think Seventh Gate Guy could beat Sage Kabuto? Could he beat him? I tend to believe, based off his feats, probably not. His time limit would be an issue. The fact that Sage Kabuto has a lot of hacks, it's probably Sage Kabuto that takes it, in my opinion. It's a very contentious topic, though. Alright, folks. Any other questions you shall have, I shall answer. Part 1 Sasuke versus Part 1 Neji. Sasuke was stated to be the strongest opponent Gaara ever faced. Gaara faced Fifth Gate's Lee, who Neji seemed to be intimidated by and shocked by, so probably Sasuke irrationally. So, if we're talking about Chunin exams, if we're talking previous, like beginning Chunin exam, obviously Neji washes the floor with him. Or previous, if it's end of Chunin exams, right? If it's before that, Neji all the way. After, Sasuke. So, Chunin exams Neji versus Chunin exams Lee Fifth Gate. Probably Lee. Neji seems to be shocked by it. So, 6 did a funny debate about that topic. The beat gets heated. Absolutely. 6 getting heated is so funny. I've seen him heated for sure. A few times. Against myself. He got heated as well. Because we were discussing what point we were discussing. Hashirama's durability. He was claiming, well, Hashirama fights Madara, and from the only thing we can observe is that he was fighting in his wooden golem. There's no way to prove that he was hit physically by Madara. I was like, well, that's an appeal to ignorance, right? It's an appeal to ignorance because clearly they're not going to fight in that form the whole time. At the end of the fight, they're not in their structures, and they both appear to be fatigued and beaten. So I've definitely seen him heated. If you ever got time, watch the debate between Kuros and Happy. Oh, I've heard of both guys, yeah. I don't think anyone's gotten 6 more heated than Kabuki, man. That guy's a fucking troll, man. That guy's no debater. It's hard to imagine you getting mad over debate. I have never, I've never gone to that point. There's debates where I debated that one dumbass I told you about, Iron Man versus Batman. But even then, I was not fucking screaming and shit. I was just calmly dissecting his stupidity. That's all I was doing. I wasn't, yelling and shit. It's psychological. It's mental warfare. There's mental warfare aspect to debating. If you can get the psychological advantage, they're fucked. If they're choking on their words and they're flustered, you got a good chance. If you guys are relative in knowledge. So the best debaters, for my estimation, are usually the calmest. I mean, you rarely see someone like Jordan Peterson never gets upset. Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, Destiny. I've seen Destiny a little heated before. Seth only yells and shit when he's playing around, but I've never seen him yell from a real debate on a legit topic. So, let's see. Destiny, by the way, is kind of in the Red Pill community now. He's hanging out with Fresh and Fit and fucking Sneeko. I'm sure some of you guys probably know who that is. A Red Pill dude. I know Destiny affiliated with the anime community, if I'm not mistaken. The other person. Alright, folks. Any questions and all questions, feel free to ask. Seth changed his thoughts about Miyako versus the Akatsuki, I guess. Yeah, believing that he speed blitzes and slices all their throats, especially with Itachi's Edo scaling and Nagato's Edo scaling in comparison to the KCM on Naruto, it makes that contentious. I don't think he solos and slices all their throats in the Akatsuki. Destiny is very blue pill, though. Actually, he is not red pill, I'll say that, but I've seen him have some takes that are not liberal. I heard him say some things that are not liberal. Honestly, I think he's a centrist, to be honest. He's kind of in the center. He leans more left, I'll admit that, more blue pill, but he's not all the way in blue pill, I'll tell you that. He is an open marriage, plus he is bi. Yeah, I know that. What about Edo Tensei actually nerfs a ninja? Apparently, because you're not, physically alive, technically speaking, your body itself, your attributes, your caliber, from everywhere from speed, reaction time, attack potential, damage capacity, that's all lowered because you're not alive and you're not in your prime or whatever of that nature. Unless you have a special case like Itachi, who was ill, and him being resurrected took away his illness. You could argue Edo Itachi is stronger than sick Itachi, but he's not stronger than alive Itachi. And also takes away stamina deficiency. You have no stamina worries because it's infinite. So, yeah, he's more center left. I agree. Destiny, Sai versus Suigetsu. Suigetsu's a fucking stud. I kind of lean towards Suigetsu. He tanked a fucking direct attack from 8 Tails Killer Bee. That's fucking crazy. Who would you debate, Kabuki or Noodles? I've said this before, but fuck Noodles. I don't fuck with that loser. Yeah, he's done too much fucked up shit, and there's a lot of bullshit surrounding him. Fuck him. I don't fuck with him at all, or his circle. So fuck him. As far as Kabuki, that would be crazy. It'd be him fucking yelling while I dissect his ignorance. That's what would happen. So, just like Seth did, just like Six did. You know. I think Kabuki can make Jay get heated. I don't. Maybe if he keeps fucking yelling. Let's see here. Give me a second, folks. Let's see. Ask some questions, folks. If you feel free to ask any questions. What's the difference between AP and destructive? The difference. How do I put this? So destructive capacity, right? How do I put it? It's used, right? That word is used when determining the amount of damage a character can produce, right? So like as far as how much energy output, it determines that. That's what destructive capacity is used for. Now attack potency depends on the energy output, not necessarily the effect of the attack. I'll say that. It's kind of hard. They are used synonymously to some degree, but that's the best way I can put it. What if Orochimaru's summons turned against him? Who would win? Who would win? You mean against if Orochimaru's summons turned against him? Who would win? If Tobirama and Hashirama did, if it's war, they fucking destroy him. If it's when they fought Hiruzen, I mean, they would just simply help Hiruzen, so they would win. You know. What does autoversal mean? In fact, let me look that up myself. There's all these terms, right? Hyperversal, multiversal, outerversal. Let's look it up. Let's be exact. Alright, so according to Versus Wiki, outerversal is a term coined within this wiki to refer to any reality that transcends all concepts of dimensions. Okay, in-depth explanation. This is what we're looking for. Outerversal realities are those whose nature is conceptually different from time and space. That is, they are completely transcendental in relation to physics. Okay, they can be described as a meta-abstraction, which makes them completely non-physical in relation to any higher dimensional reality. An outverse can be the background for a dimensional reality of any size and complexity. So from what I extrapolate from that, it seems to transcend all dimensions, with there being 11 according to a certain theory. I forgot the certain scientist. Outerverse is not are equivalent to the term omniverse, and it is incorrect to consider mentions of omniverses of the omniverse as outerversal. Okay. See if we can find other definitions here. They seem ambiguous, right? I get what you're coming from. I think it's all depending on which dimensions you can transcend. I think if you transcend our regular fourth dimensional universe, you're outerversal? I don't know. The theory of character being universal or planetary can differ from anime to anime, right? Yeah, especially if those universes and or planets differ from our own, right? Because these terms presuppose that, you know, these animes universes scale to our own. That's the only way you can do it, right? If it's an ambiguous scaling, there's no way how we can scale it. If the author kind of presupposes that their universe is the same size as our own, time dwells there, it's fourth dimensional, then yeah. So it can vary, right? If the moon's hollow, like it is in Naruto, if you destroy a hollow moon, it doesn't necessarily mean you're small planet level or planet level, because you're destroying something with less mass, considerably less mass. The majority of the mass is constricted within the visual part of it, right? So yeah, it does depend. Can Minato beat Tobirama? Yeah. Boruto has some horrible filler going on right now. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Most of it is. Kakuzu versus the 5 Kage Summit. Kakazu? I mean, he transcends time. He destroys the 5 Kage Summit. He beats Pain. He beats everyone. So he wins. Zach, you got Prime Tobirama, Alive Hokage Minato. Prime Tobirama over Alive Hokage Minato. Kakuzu wins the raw durability. Exactly. Raw durability transcends our dimension. He's out reversal. Just like we were looking up. Alright, folks, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Again, make sure to hit the like button if you haven't already. Gets us up in the algorithm. What are some topics you would like to see covered or talked about more? I mean, that's a good question. What are some topics you would like to see covered or talked about more? Maybe the chewing exams. You know, those are pretty contentious. I like to see someone make a very, very in-depth video about that. Like chewing exam Sasuke versus chewing exam Lee, or chewing exam Sasuke versus chewing exam Neji. Although it's inevitably ambiguous, I would like to see someone give a really, really good rational argument. Maybe I'll do that myself one day as a future video. What DC or Marvel comic have you read recently? Let's see some recent ones that I've read. As far as Marvel, what's the last one that I read? One that I read that's not the newest recently was Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. He transcends arguably the Marvel multiverse, because he goes outside and then he's in the writer's room at the end, which is insane. He kills everyone, including Hulk, Iron Man, all the mainstream heroes. That was an insane comic book. As far as DC, I've read a ton lately. There was one with Batman where he absorbs Dr. Manhattan's powers and he kills the omniversal being of the DC multiverse. I think his name's the Dark Knight or something like that. That was an insane one. There's a lot I've read. Edo Minato and Tobirama versus Edo Hashirama. Edo Minato and Tobirama versus Edo Hashirama. Well, Edo Minato has KCM too. I would lean towards them to Minato and Tobirama, but if it's Edo without KCM, rationally I would lean towards Hashirama, I assume. And doesn't it again? Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe too. He kills his multiverse counterparts. Yeah, Deadpool's insane, man. It's fucking insane. Does extraterrestrial life exist? Well, if you're thinking about it rationally, right, I still believe that astronomers are still trying to see how large the universe is. It is unimaginably gargantuan. So it isn't hard to fathom that there are similar parameters established on some other galaxy, countless light years away, similar to our own, right? Let's say there's a sun there, with the perfect placement of the Earth, with perfect parameters or damn near, it's hard to fathom that there's another civilization out there. No. So I think it is highly likely that that extraterrestrial life exists. Highly likely. Let's see here. Alright, folks, if you have any questions for her to ask. EMS Sasuke or Sage Alive Minato? It's ambiguous what Sage Minato is capable of. He obviously didn't use it very much in battle, so I'm assuming it's kind of detrimental to him to use it, at least alive. I'll lean towards EMS Sasuke. Yeah. Did you know that my uncle got divorced and now has to pay alimony slave payments for the rest of his life? I hope that doesn't happen to me ever. That's why prenup, or never get married, at least under the state. Get married under the church. Fuck that. It's not even worth getting married, man. Honestly. Would you live on another planet if planetary transportation becomes a thing in his lifetime? I would have to know concretely if it's self-sustaining like Earth is, at least long term. I wouldn't just simply go to fucking Mars if they were able to live there, you know, because shit can go wrong. You know, there's a lot of things that haven't been established. I would say probably not, unless I know as a fact that it's similar to Earth and it's as safe as Earth, you know. So EMS Sasuke, early Warwick versus Prime Itachi. Prime Itachi probably, yeah. Alright, folks. There's a definitive possibility, but we're not going to make the assertion right now since we can only make hypothesis. It's true. Basically what I said, yeah. Alright, folks, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Any at all. Super chat questions are prioritized, of course. The more controversial, the better. Do you think Jiraiya had the best genjutsu due to it being auditory? I don't think so. I think Itachi Tsukuyomi was better. You control all reality, basically. I know it's cool that it's auditory, right? But I personally, based off my bias, I'd say no. Who's your favorite character in Naruto? My personal favorite would probably be... Good question. There's a couple that are in contention for that. Itachi's up there, Minato's up there, Kakashi's up there. Probably Itachi. I don't know, something about him, his aura, his lore, you know. And what he represents as a character thematically speaking as well is very admirable, you know. He's willing to be the black sheep of the village his whole fucking young life to protect Sasuke. Plus the fact that aesthetically he's pretty fucking cool. He has a Tsukuyomi where it makes him seem like a god when he uses it. And every time we see him on screen, he's a top dog, you know. So probably Itachi. Kakashi and Minato are a close second, though. Both of them. What would you like to see out of Boruto in the future if you're not already reading it outside of power scaling or because Naruto and Sasuke are in it? I would like to see a good build-up to the thematic clash that's going to take place. There's going to be an ideological clash between, right after the time skip, between Kawaki and Boruto, with those ideologies being the old way of shinobi, right, which is what seems Boruto's trying to protect in that little clip that we get after the time skip, and Kawaki's trying to destroy it and enact his new ideology on the world. So I want a good build up to that. These cyborgs and all that shit, I don't know, it's all right. Sure, they're powerful. Damon's stared to be stronger than Jigen, even though he's a fucking little kid. It's not the best build up, narratively. It's not super thrilling. You know, I don't know. They need more hype, more lore established. That's what I want for Boruto. See here. I personally think almost everyone is kind of hyped for the clash of Boruto with quality. Yep, absolutely. Prime Chio versus Itachi. Itachi. If it's Prime Itachi, Itachi. If it's sick Itachi, arguably Chio, arguably. Boruto's like heavy in comparison to. Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of like bullshit that we don't care about. You know, like these cyborgs, I don't give a shit about them. I don't give a shit about Code. He's not polarizing to me. The most polarizing villain was Ishiki. He was the most polarizing. All these other dudes, I don't really give a shit about. So, KCM2 Naruto and B versus Sage Kabuto. KCM2 Naruto. Contentious. I would say probably Kabuto. Probably. Although ambiguous, of course. Absorption is also a huge problem in Boruto. Yeah, it's a plot device. Like fucking Momoshiki, fucking Jigen, like he absorbs Amaterasu. They overdo it sometimes. I understand, like when you're a fucking god, Otsutsuki alien, I get it. They're gonna have shit that's hard to deal with, but if cyborgs are doing it, fucking, it's ridiculous. It kind of like it defeats the purpose of Naruto and Sasuke working so fucking hard to get to where they are, you know. Which I guess speaks testaments to the ideological clash that's taking place. It's subtle, but it's already taking place. The old way of the shinobi, which is Naruto's way, the ninja way, versus the ways of new. You know, God-given, privileged power, like the Otsutsuki. Boruto was giving karma, God-given. He didn't fucking earn it. Naruto and Sasuke beat Momoshiki, not fucking Boruto. Even the Rasengan he used to destroy him, Naruto gave him most of the power. Yet he gets fucking Momoshiki's power? Like, okay, man. For sure. For sure. How much do you think Kakashi would benefit if he had Sage Mode? Oh, fuck. If he had Sage Mode? Greatly. Greatly. Especially now that he doesn't have precognition due to not having a Sharingan. And he could absorb nature energy. It would make him a fucking it would make him a formidable foe. I'll tell you that. What would you rate Boruto out of 10? Right now, solid 7, maybe 6.5 so far overall. You know, the highs, you can go as high as 8 or 9, like Ishiki versus Naruto, that was spectacular. And then the lows go as low as fucking 3 or 4s, like some very lackluster moments. So I would say 6.5, maybe 7. Maybe 7. See. Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks versus Super Saiyan 3 Goku. I'll have to see the exact feats that they accomplish. It seems Goku fared better against Buu than Gotenks did. So I'm gonna go towards Goku. That's the top of my head. It's not like a super accurately research done assessment, but I would say Goku. I wish we got to see the timelines with Kakashi's Hokage more. Yeah, I would like to see Naruto's missions before being Hokage, Sasuke's missions as, you know, when he was in the shadows. But it is what it is. Goten versus Narutoverse. He probably goes through most of it. Yeah. Ultimate Gohan versus Super Saiyan 3 Goku. If you mean the one that fought Buu, I'm assuming. I mean, Goku fought a stronger version, I believe, of Buu. At least I believe that. He was more... Well, they kind of played around, too. There was some satire. They're playing around, biting each other and shit. I would say Gohan was more serious, down to business, but arrogant. I lean towards Goku, based off the top of my head, without a thorough analysis. I did not mind Boruto getting Momoshiki's powers because Naruto got Kurama power, even though Minato defeated Kurama. Yeah, but the ways that their lives went after that is not really similar. Naruto was demonized and villainized and treated like a piece of shit for the majority of his childhood. Boruto was born into privilege already, pre-karma. Doesn't even fucking do anything to stop fucking Momoshiki till the end. And then fucking gets his power. You know, it's just not earned to me. Plus, top of that, Naruto had to befriend Kurama. Fucking Momoshiki saves Boruto's fucking life because he had to. They're not even fucking friends. You know, it's a lot of handouts in comparison. So I'm gonna tell you why you're generous. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. An NC Hammer video of Naruto getting 10 tails would be possible in Naruto in Next Generations. Ever think about making your own series? That's a tough, tall task to do. You have to brainstorm a polarizing and emotionally appealing storyline, and plus make it make sense logically, you know. But maybe in the future, as my, you know, as I grow as a presence in the community, maybe. I know Seth has talked about it. I'm sure he plays around. He's playing around most of the time, but he's talked about it as well. You have to have a very creative mind. I'll tell you that. You have to make it appealing, you know. All right, folks. Are there any other questions here? Seth said he wants to make a series about an alien pizza girl. Yeah, I heard about that shit. The vaporwave aesthetic. That's hilarious. Your best anime to date? Narratively, probably Attack on Titan. To me, it was the most appealing and polarizing. No filler, like shit. It was just pure action. You know, in my opinion, it was fucking spectacular. To be honest, there's a lot that I have to watch though. Finish Bleach. You know, actually, Attack on Titan. Yeah, probably Attack on Titan. Second, probably Dragon Ball overall. Then Naruto. I forgot about Death Note. Death Note might be better than Dragon Ball, narratively. I don't know. It was pretty fucking good. Will Sasuke regain his Rinnegan? This is my take on that. There is a clear passing of the torch, thematically speaking, from Naruto and Sasuke to Kawaki and Boruto, and it's already taken place with them being nerfed significantly. So it would be, to me, it would not add up giving their powers back. I think they're done. You know, that's all she wrote for them. Kind of like, you know, Kakashi losing his Sharingan. It's the same kind of thing. I think he's done. It wouldn't make sense to me. It wouldn't make sense. The passing of the torch is already taking place. So, you read Jujutsu Kaisen? Not really. I haven't really read it, but I already like Gojo a lot. Gojo is very polarizing. His abilities with perception manipulation and the idea of infinity, which is a very interesting idea, is very cool. So, are you gonna watch Jujutsu Kaisen, Black Clover, Code Geass? I think Jujutsu Kaisen is probably gonna be next on my list after Bleach. Probably Jujutsu Kaisen immediately after. Black Clover, possibly Code Geass, because there's a lot of parallels to Death Note, possibly. You watch Steins Gate? I don't think I'm familiar with that. DMS Kakashi sounds cool. DMS Sasuke sounds cool. That'd be pretty cool. But I don't think it'd be stronger than him with his Rene Sharingan because he's 6 past powers. Yeah. What anime do you wish could get video games the same way that Naruto and Dragon Ball gets consistently? That's a good question. Well, Attack on Titan would probably be a good video game. It's fairly new in the anime world, even manga-wise, compared to those two. But as far as battle, you know, shows that revolve around battle aesthetically. Maybe One Piece. I know it's pretty popular in the anime community. Death Note would be an interesting game. It could be like a mystery game where you do shit with Kira, with light. That'd be interesting. Those two are just the easiest to do because of popularity and because of the fact that they're, they're battle themed anime, so it's easy. Have you seen Full Metal Alchemist? No, I have not. But that's one I might check out in the future as well. What power up do you think Sarada needs to keep up with Boruto and Kawaki? Probably MS. At least I think MS probably. Yeah, probably MS. Possibly EMS. Maybe Sasuke dies and she takes one of his eyes or some shit. Yellow Mask Obito versus Tobirama. I still tend to lean towards Yellow Mask Obito because of how well he did against Minato. Because of the very slight difference in speed. I mean, even Minato acknowledged this is going to come down to who gets who first. So that implies respect and that implies relativity. So Death Note could go for an LA Noir style game. Yeah, exactly. Do you think Death Note kind of went down after L's death? Yeah. I feel like they were grasping at straws at some points. L was the perfect counterpart, right? Having the intelligence, having the deductive capability and inductive capability to keep up with someone like Light Yagami. What I think is it peaked with L, and then it went down, and then it kind of went up again towards the end. The ending was pretty good. Overall, Death Note's goated to shit. So, what MS powers do you think Madara has specifically? Yeah. The problem is we never see like his specialty, right? Like Itachi or Sasuke. That's the problem. Or Obito with Kamui. Maybe the game, if you consider the game canon, we can go back in time slightly. That's the best thing I can come up with because you can theoretically come up with anything for him, but we just never see what he can do. So, Sarada with dual Rinnegan, dual Rene Sharingan, and Byaku Seal would be awesome. That'd be fucking crazy. That'd be crazy. Sarada would need something crazy to keep up. I think even Mitsuki outclassed her as of right now. I agree. Yeah, so especially with Sage Mode. It's broken. I kind of concerned that Sarada might get thrown in a corner. Mitsuki has his Sage powers. Yeah, this is what they can't do with Sarada. They can't repeat the Sakura mistake. They got to keep her relevant, keep her likable. Don't make her a crying little bitch because she's outclassed by Mitsuki and Boruto. Keep her relevant. She's still liked amongst the community. Sakura, it's too far. She's too far gone. A lot of people are always gonna hate her. It is what it is. Don't do the same shit with Sarada. Do not repeat the same mistake twice. So, Mitsuki's pretty dope though. Not gonna lie. Yeah, he's very cool. Very cool. The women in Naruto still getting shafted to this day. Yeah, Sarada's pretty respected. She blitzed Boro, and the Kara Inners are stated to have this, equal war potential to Naruto, which is very respectable. And Sakura was able to blitz him with a Chidori. Very, very impressive. So she did have help from Boruto, and they had to set him up and shit. But that's still an impressive speed feat. I respect her more than I respected Sakura at that age. I'll tell you that. She's definitely more respected. Just one Chidori in a while or one shiny moment isn't good enough. I agree. She needs more, right? She needs more. Sarada hasn't been relevant to the Boro fight. Yeah, she hasn't. She's kind of been obscured, tossed aside. Sarada getting as powerful as Prime Sasuke isn't enough either. Yeah, considering Ishiki and considering Damon is relative or superior to Jigen, that wouldn't be enough. To deal with the fucking cyborgs of that caliber, you gotta be stronger than Naruto and Sasuke were in their prime. Besides Baryon mode, of course. You gotta be stronger than they were in their prime. So, Kakuzu versus old Hiruzen. Kakuzu transcends time. His durability transcends that of any shinobi ever. Raw durability. Kakuzu triumphs all. Let's see here. But yeah, folks, In the future, I do plan on doing like a call-in thing. I don't know if I'm gonna do it every stream where I do a call-in, maybe like once a month. I gotta set that up. You guys can come and ask questions. If there's a hater, they can come and talk shit. But there's going to be smoke if they come in and talk shit. So I'll allow that too. I'm not simply just gonna hang up unless they're on some bullshit. Then I'll hang up. But there's gonna be a call-in show. I do plan on doing that because no one else does that in this community. You know, there's podcasts that do that, but not anime themed podcasts such as this one. So, Kakashi getting washed by early part 2 1010. Hey, Kakashi has raw durability. What can I say? Colin show sounds fun. Yeah, I definitely want to plan on that. Try to have a co-host when I do that so he can help me run it. You know, keep things in order. Shit like that. People who are super chat will probably get priority. And people with super chat can probably get a longer time in the call. Shit like that. There's certain parameters I need to establish. So. And people could talk shit. They can come and talk shit to me and be ready to back it up and shit like that. I don't know if I want to do long form debates during the call in either. That's going to take too much time, but, you know, it'll be a balance. Kaguya slaps Ishiki in code. He has raw durability. Exactly. Raw durability. Which character would benefit the most from being a host or a tailed beast the most in Naruto? Which character? Let's see. In Naruto. I think Nagato would have been interesting. He's an Uzumaki. You know? He has the chakra reserves for it to handle all that chakra like Naruto. I mean, he has the Renegons already, but that would have been interesting. Nagato. Hashirama? You know, would have been interesting. Who else? I'm trying to think of someone else that would be interesting. Who else is out there? Shikamaru with his intelligence, if he has the chakra reserves for it. There's a few people. Itachi, that'd be fucking crazy. Two or three changes you would make in Naruto. Kaguya not being the final villain, save her dumbass till Boruto. Sakura not being so fucking annoying and a fucking modern woman. You know, the woman that we should all avoid in the real world. I wish they would have made her a better character, more relevant, not as annoying. And let's see what else. Something else. Let's think here. And maybe more fights. More fights that we would like to see. Neji versus Rock Lee and shit like that. There's more shit, you know. So probably those three things. Alright, let's see what else we got here. Ten versus Tauntaun. The fucking pig. Pig slaps for sure. Do you think Minato wouldn't have many decisions to die? He could have ended Obito himself later. Yeah, I think so. Maybe becoming the Jinchuriki of the Ninth if possible. I think he stated when he had it in him, he said he couldn't handle all of it. So he had to put it in Naruto. He said, I could barely handle this amount. This is half. I'm pretty sure he stated that. Do you think that Suskis were ultimately a mistake? I think the way they were presented was a mistake. You know, just downplayed a lot of shit. They could have done it a different way, similar to maybe the way they presented Madara. Build it up, make him polarizing, build the lore, build the suspense. Instead, they just fucking put Kaguya's dumbass in our face and then all the other shit. And then the dumbass cyborg is like, no, not the same. Ishiki was cool, though. He was pretty cool. There was some build up with Ishiki, with Jigen. That was pretty fucking cool. Besides that, a lot of shit. I think in Naruto, the last, and Boruto worked for me. But yeah, everyone has their own, you know, opinions on that shit and stuff. But most tend to agree that Boruto lacks in comparison to Shippuden. Minato's foresight was great, though. Yeah, it was good. Could he have predicted Naruto being villainized? I'm sure he did with his deduction capability. I mean, the fucking Nine Tails destroyed the village, and fucking he's putting half of it in his own son. But to him, it was a necessary sacrifice. It's arguable whether it was a good one or a bad one. But yeah, good. I would say so. Was it a coincidence that no one from the Akatsuki was from the Hidden Cloud Village? That is a good observation. Who knows? Who knows? What's the worst anime you've seen? The worst anime I've seen? I'm trying to think. What's a shitty anime that I just couldn't stand? Let's see. I think there was one on Netflix. I forgot what it was called. It was Ass. I watched like 2 episodes. I forgot the name of it, but it was on Netflix. Cloud people are loyal. That's true. It's very true. They are loyal. Probably an isekai or a slice of life. Yeah, probably. Yeah, it was Ass. Yeah, for sure. Cloud Village is beast. Yeah, it's very close knit village. Say that. At least on the surface. Alright, folks. See what you guys have here. Some Cloud Village women been looking right to. Oh yeah, the secretary of the Reikage. Not bad. Obito versus Madara's villains. Madara's the better villain. Obito was a conflicted, distraught person. Madara never lacked conviction. He never lacked it. He'd rather die than give up his conviction. Obito was talked out of it. Pain was talked out of it. Madara was not. He had to be thoroughly defeated. Even his best friend couldn't do it. Hashirama couldn't do it. Now that's a villain with backbone. That's a villain with conviction. A comparison would be someone like Joker. Now Joker's a little different. He's just instinctually malevolent, but his conviction towards that malevolence and psychosis is admirable. He doesn't break. He doesn't give a fuck about his own life. Nobody. He'll let people fucking die before his eyes. He'll let himself die. He doesn't give a fuck. So that conviction is admirable. So I would say Madara. How did Naruto change Minato lived? Everything would change. Naruto would be Boruto probably. Privileged, silver spoon in his mouth. Probably respected even in the academy. He's like, oh, his dad's Minato. He's probably a fucking stud. Kind of like Boruto. So. See here. Do you think Konoha could have taken all the 4 villages by themselves? Probably, especially if Hiruzen was still alive. Especially if they kept all their shinobi alive. If like Obito stayed, Itachi stayed, definitely. Without them, it'd be a little tough. But with Hiruzen, they probably could get the job done. Especially if they have Jiraiya there. Tsunade comes and helps and shit. Yeah, probably. Can the Tosuke blade seal the Reaper Death Seal? I don't think they would interact. They're both meant to seal. How would 2 seals interact? Is one theoretically stronger than the other? I mean, the Reaper Death Seal needs a soul to extract. And the Tosuke blade as well, right? It just seals you. I don't think shit would happen. Because the prerequisites aren't meant for either one. That's all theoretical, but that's what I would say. Who is your favorite villain in anime? Ever? Let's see. It's a good one. In anime. Maybe Light Yagami. Light Yagami's up there. Let's think of other animes. Aizen already. Deadass. He might be up there. Madara, of course. Madara, Aizen, Light. One of those. I tend to lean towards Light. Because of how complex it was. I mean, they all were complex characters, but. Where would you rank Karin in terms of deepest chakra reserves? It's ambiguous, right? Because you can bite her shit and just take her chakra. And they do it several times. She has bite marks on her arm and shit. But I wouldn't say she's. I mean, she's an Uzumaki, so I would say she's up there. She's probably one of the higher reserves. I'll say that. Let's do. How much would you rate Aaron out of 10? Aaron Yeager, legend. Um, I think what happened to him is extremely relatable. You know, he's a guy that seemingly had strong conviction, a strong sense of justice, but suffering and war-torn events changed him. It made him cold to the world, and that's what happens in the real world. It was a beautiful story, to be honest. Out of 10, he might damn near be a 10. I know some people say, "Oh, he changed and he did the rumbling and all this shit." You don't know what war does to somebody. You know, talk to a veteran that's seen shit. It changes you. You're not as lighthearted and fucking trusting of others when you see shit, and that's what they did with Aaron. I think he's fucking 9.5, 10. Honestly, it's fucking spectacular. Really good. Also, another guy. What's his name? Levi, stud. The guy's a stud. Him and Aaron, studs. I also like that commander. The commander that died during the fight against the Beast Titan. Fucking stud. That guy's a fucking stud for sure. Miriam, Pain, Hisoka. I've heard some of these guys. I haven't seen the actual animes, but I've heard some of them, about some of them. So. Favorite superhero? Batman. Unbreakable Will, at least mainstream Batman. Has no fucking powers but could take down universal threats, and is able to take down the world's greatest heroes with contingency plans without killing them. That's a flex. He can take you down without killing you because he's that good. That's a flex. So Batman, for sure. Do you have any beginner debate advice? Don't debate dumbasses. I'll say that. Don't debate dumbasses. Be ready to take L's. Everyone has taken L's. I guarantee you Seth has taken an L. Destiny has taken an L. Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson. I guarantee they've all failed. Everyone fails. You gotta be okay with failing. Learn from your mistakes. But also pick your battles wisely at the same time. Don't debate, let's debate the theory of relativity. You don't know shit about it, right? So don't debate that. Debate something you know about. And expand your knowledge on such a topic, right? Continuously evolve. It's really a muscle that you gotta exercise. Similar to going to the fucking gym and working out chest or whatever. It's the same shit. Work it out. Now, when you're constructing arguments, this is the key. Don't be arrogant and think that your argument is bulletproof. When it comes to anime, there's a lot of ambiguity anyway, if you're talking about anime specifically, or anything that's abstract like fucking politics. Attack your own argument even before the debate and ask yourself, is there any holes in my argument? Fill in those holes. And sometimes you're going to have to change your argument because there's too many holes. Look at every minuscule detail from every minuscule angle and make your argument as soundproof as possible and get ready for possible counters. So counter your own shit and come up with counters to those counters. That way, it's tough to break down the foundation of your premise. Right? That takes experience as well. And as far as mental warfare, don't let a good argument shake you. Right? If someone gives you a good rebuttal, don't let it shake you and you start cracking your voice or whatever. You got to stay consistent. Don't break. That's all I can say. You play fighting games? Oh yeah. Injustice, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, or Tekken, however it's pronounced. So yeah. Is it right to use novels in debates? Not to a great extent, but for certain topics. So depends on the anime. Depends if the authoritative figures of these animes and mangas state that they're canon or don't state that they're canon and they're written by them. Like in Naruto, you can't use the novels anymore. One of the writers of the novel said it's not canon, so you can't use it. So it depends. It depends. Who's a better written character, Kakashi or Itachi? That's a tough one. Who was a better written character? I would say Yeah, they're both very well written. Probably Kakashi. He's probably a little more relatable to the real human being than Itachi. You know, Itachi. It depends, right? Because Itachi is less relatable. He's a prodigy. Not everyone's a prodigy. I mean, Kakashi was too, but I think he's a little bit more relatable. I want Kakuzu versus Endo Shippuden Naruto. Hey, facts. You're right. Exactly. Ginyu Force versus Pride Troopers. Let's see. I think Ginyu Force low mid diffs them, but what about you? Lol. Absolutely. The Ginyu Force fucking wrecks them. Tachi is greatest written anime character. He's definitely up there. Most definitely. Definitely a fair claim. Yeah, Jiren gets washed by Kakuzu too, but he gets washed by Ginyu. Facts. Let's see here. What's one of the favorite videos you've made? I like the Hokage video I made. That was before I knew the fucking novels weren't canon. I had to change a bunch of shit and probably switch Tsunade and Kakashi, arguably. That was a good one. There's some debates that I really enjoyed. I kind of enjoyed watching that one guy in Batman vs Iron Man. That was a wash. I enjoyed debating another person that I know on Adult Sakura versus EMS Madara. That was also interesting. Making the what if Itachi never killed the Uchiha clan. That was interesting. The Dragon Ball Super Base Vegeta versus Final Form Frieza from DBZ. Vegeta fucking washes. Kakuzu is the only universal character in Naruto verse. Facts. The only one. And arguably the ramen guy as well. Multiversal, whatever you want to say, outerversal. They transcend the continuity itself. It's facts. Ginyu does change now on Jiren. Facts. Base Goku versus. Well, now. Oh, I think what a lot of people don't realize is, as they get stronger, their base increases as well. Like, base Goku now would fucking fatherize the Frieza that fought Super Saiyan Goku, during the Namek saga. You destroy him, fucking obliterate him. So, I tend to say Goku now. Maybe I'm assuming his progression has been quite vast. You can use MUI. Yeah, probably. That was a little more contentious because that's more recent, right? Kaba was more recent than fucking Frieza. Throw some respect on Lady 1010. Facts. I respect her more than Sakura, I'll tell you that. Fuck Sakura. Deadass. Current Krillin washes Namek Saga. Go. Facts. Absolutely. It's a bit disingenuous to label Frieza as being wanked. You was equally as questionable considering how experienced he was using construction energy power. This is why I think it's more wanked. Vegeta, for decades, has been consistently training, right? Fucking Frieza reaches Super Saiyan Blue levels from 4 months of fucking training. And he's able to almost contend with Super Saiyan Blue Goku. What the fuck? And then he gets the Black Frieza form from 10 years in the hyperbolic time chamber. And now he's fucking one-shotting both? Goku and fucking Vegeta? Fuck no. That's a fucking wank. Yeah, it was 10 years. But from outside looking in, it's a fucking wank, dude. That's a fucking wank. Fuck that shit. Motherfucker, 4 months you're fucking Super Saiyan Blue. Get the fuck out of here. Gohan's a fucking wank. The motherfucker's beating someone stronger than Broly? The fuck has he done? Get the fuck out of here, man. Now, for me, you gotta earn your shit. Earn it. Goku and Vegeta earn their shit. It's a difference. Jiren versus Beerus. I still lean towards Beerus. Personally. I mean, it's ambiguous, but if I had to pick, it's Beerus. Kiba with the Hagoromo Karma versus Konohamaru with Toneri Karma. Tenseigan included. I think Toneri. The question is Kaguya stronger than Toneri? And is Toneri stronger than Hagoromo? Because we know Hagoromo is weaker than Kaguya. He states it himself. He needed his brother's help to defeat her. Now, is Toneri stronger than Kaguya? That's a tough one. For the sake of staying consistent with the sort of hierarchy of villains, I'll go with Toneri Karma. Especially with the Tenseigan. Like, Power Cannon currently sucks. Absolutely. Fucking Gohan? Fucking Piccolo? Orange, what is it called? Piccolo Dorado or some shit? The motherfucker is like near the level of fucking Gohan? Fuck no, man. Fuck that. You're getting a fucking... This is not earned, man. Fuck that shit. Onuki versus A. I think A's speed would be a problem. He'd probably blitz him. So I'll probably go with A. It's a contentious one, though. If Onuki can get his particle style off, I mean, A's fucked, obviously. But I think he's just too fast. What do you think would actually happen if Ginyu changed bodies with a fusion? I wonder how that would work. Because technically it's two, isn't it? It's two people in one. Would he just change with one? And the fusion just be him and the other person he didn't fuse with? I mean, that he didn't absorb? How would that work? It's ambiguous. Or would it take both souls and he just goes into the fused body? Like, it's fucking crazy. I don't know how that would work. I would assume that he would only take one part of the fusion, and he would fuse with that other person. That's what I assume. Sage Mode Wark, Naruto versus 5 Kage-sama and Sasuke. Probably Naruto. If it's Wark, probably Naruto. He's improved, stronger, and he's using clones and still fucking up the third Raikage. So probably Naruto. If it's Pain Arc Naruto, he loses because he states it himself. He says, I would need the QB to beat you. He says that in the manga. So, alright, folks. 10 more minutes. Unless someone donates something, I'll stay a little longer. Any questions are greatly appreciated, though. And any super chats as well. Become a member, too, if you want to see exclusive content. Become a member. Just click on my channel. Click join. You got to do it on a PC, by the way. I think on mobile, iPhone at least, it doesn't give you the option, which is stupid. But become a member as well. And hit the like button, by the way, folks. If you barely got in here, hit the like button. And gets us up in the algorithm, gets us more noticed, so the army keeps growing. You know. Let's see. Ultra Instinct Goku versus Gogeta. It's ambiguous, right? Because he deals with, well, Master Ultra Instinct deals with Jiren. Gogeta washes fucking Broly. I tend to lean towards Gogeta. Tend to lean towards him. Because I think Goku did compare him, at least in the movie, to Beerus. Or was it Jiren? One of the two. I still tend to lean towards Gogeta. Thanks again, for sure. Need to get in the Discord. Yeah, for you guys that are not in my Discord, join it. You know, I try to talk when I can in there, post announcements about shit you won't know unless you join that. There's debates that take place. You can rank up, shit like that. Third Raikage versus Tobirama. Tobirama, probably. The third Raikage's durability would be a problem, but Tobirama's intelligence, flying Raijin, would be a problem for him. So. Ultra Instinct versus Ultra Ego as a form. As far as what do I like more? I mean, Ultra Ego looks pretty cold. It looks pretty cold. And I like Vegeta more, a little bit more personally. Personally, I like him a little more. So I'll go with Ultra Ego. Not as far as power. I just mean, like, what's cooler. I think it's a little cooler. The other Kage is underrated. I think only Hashirama can beat him, and Minato might figure out his weakness. Yeah, Minato would definitely figure out his weakness. Definitely. Hashirama obviously would beat him as well. Yeah. Do you think Bleach or Dragon Ball is better transformation from what you've seen so far? Oh, Dragon Ball, for sure. From what I've seen so far, Dragon Ball washes him. Super Saiyan, I don't think I've ever seen a better transformation in anime history. Ever. When Goku went Super Saiyan against Frieza on Namek, that was prolific. Simple as that. Sage Naruto Pain Arc versus Sage Kabuto. Oh, Sage Kabuto destroys him. Destroys him. It's not even competition. He's not even relative to 5 Kage-sama Sasuke, right? He's inferior to that. And that person's inferior to EMS Sasuke, who's arguably inferior to Itachi, or at bare minimum, highballing relative to. And Kabuto is competing against both of them. So they were holding back. But Kabuto was holding back as well. Does Edo Itachi beat the Sannin? Yes. Itachi versus Conan? Itachi. Itachi. That was iconic, no doubt. Definitely. Would you rather have Limbo clones or Kamui? Kamui, because I can get away from people and just chill in the Kamui dimension. For sure. Kamui, just leave, man. Or if you don't feel like talking to somebody, fucking send them away. Fuck it. Send them to the Kamui dimension. Throw their asses out somewhere else. It's dope. Conan with prep time kill any Akatsuki member. Well, we know for sure not Obito, because she failed to do so. Well, he had to use the special Izanami. I think it's Izanagi or Izanami, whatever the fuck it was, one of those two. Itachi would just Genjutsu her immediately. Pain Kichibaku Tensei her. I would say no. Hulk versus Godzilla. I don't know what Godzilla's highball is. I think at the highest would be what? Planetary? I don't think he's capable of destroying a universe, at least from the literature that I know. At least mainstream Godzilla is not doing that. Hulk has reached levels where he's fucking up cosmic beings, so I would say Hulk. You know, I'm back. My phone died, by the way. You still want to react to the video for 30. Yeah, if you drop to 30, I'll react to it. Fuck it. Conan can kill Hidan with prep. Oh, yeah, Hidan, yeah, definitely. Hidan is fucking trash, though. She might be doing it without prep, to be honest. Hulk versus Broly? I mean, Hulk, I think he's beating damn near multiversal threats. I don't know, man. Hulk is a fucking monster. Mainstream Hulk probably loses to Broly, though. Probably loses. But yeah, for the 30, I'll react on stream to that shit. So. Hulk farts 99% of superhuman. Facts. He's a fucking monster. People don't realize how strong he is. Wait, not kill, but beat him. Yeah, right. Because he can't fucking die. What if they had Jiraiya in the war? I mean, it'd be useful. He'd be useful. I would say, if he's like on the Edo side, Naruto would be able to take care of him. It wouldn't be a problem. Just beat him down and they seal him. Alright, so. Kakazu versus Data, a genuine answer. Alright. Kakazu. No, I'm just kidding. Data versus Kakazu. Kakazu. I gotta ask. You gotta compare some people, right? Kakashi versus Kakazu, where it's somewhat in the same weight class. That's a stronger Kakashi than the one that fought Data early on that sniped off his arm. To be fair, he had an enraged Naruto by his side when that happened, but I would lean towards Kakazu. I think scaling wise, it seems to make sense. Right. I would lean towards Kakazu. But then again, Deidara did almost kill CS2 Sasuke, which is impressive. It's very impressive. Probably Kakuzu. Probably. That's a tough one. Next member video. I have 2 up so far. By the way, if you don't see them, I could post them in the member community tab again. I have 2 up if you haven't seen either one or one of them. The next one will probably be up next week. And by the way, if you're a member, again, become a member. And only you guys can see those videos. It gets more IRL, more controversial, in depth, more uncensored and shit. Become a member. And you can give me topics to do for the member videos. I've only seen one. Yeah, I'll post it again in the members tab. The other one, the newer one. It's debatable, yeah. But then you could ask yourself, was Rasen Shuriken Naruto superior to CS2 Sasuke with Deidara amps? Probably not. So then you might be able to say Deidara. Because Deidara almost killed him, if you remember. Anime Goku versus manga. I think manga Goku, right? Yeah. I think they say that the manga versions of characters are usually, and just as far as Dragon Ball, are stronger, if I'm not mistaken. Not mistaken. By the way, Ivanov, if you're still here, I'll do it for 30. If you didn't hear me already, if you still want to do it, react on stream for 30 before I depart. If you're still here. Appreciate the 10 of the currency. Appreciate it. Thanks, Ivanov. Appreciate the donation. Have you seen the Dragon Ball movie yet? Actually, I haven't. I have not. I kind of want to see it on Discord to do a watch party for that. Watch it with the people, you know. So join my Discord if you want to see that. With me and the squad, you know. Alright, Ivanov. Did you want me to just do the reaction? Because you paid 15. I highly appreciate it. I'll do the reaction the normal way. If you want me to do it on stream, just 15 more. American dollars, by the way. So. Yes, it's in every description of every video. It says debate Discord link. It's that one. Have you ever watched the Gundam series? Not really. I'm familiar with Gundam. It's a cool concept. You know, from my understanding, it's similar to Transformers in a way. So yeah, I am. Okay, just 15 more, and I'll go ahead and do it. American dollars, of course. Appreciate it, by the way. But yeah, Gundam series I haven't really watched. I'm familiar with it somewhat. I had a friend that was obsessed with Gundam. He used to talk to me about it all the time. So. But yeah, folks, for you guys that watch every videos, my Discord link is in every description at the very top. So join it, and you know, you'll see watch parties, shit like that. Sometimes I'm in the voice chats. So go ahead and join up. If you want to rank up, debate some people, you can rank up as well, get more privileges, more power. At the top level, you can ban people and shit. So Jiraiya base versus Sasori. Jiraiya base versus Sasori. Let's see. In his base form. Kisame, I mean, he stated that he don't think he can beat him in his base. Maybe Jiraiya. Maybe Jiraiya. Do it off stream then? Okay. For the 15, I'll do it off stream. How many subs do you want to be on 3 years? Honestly, I'm pretty ambitious, so at least tens of thousands by then. Tens of thousands. I just gotta bring out the right content, you know. probably tens of thousands, hopefully hundreds of thousands by then. So you gotta shoot for the big goals, you know. Favorite Pokemon? From what I do know, favorite Pokemon, maybe Charizard or one of the legendary Pokemon. Jiraiya base health beat Inotsutsuki. Love your dedication though. Appreciate it. Yeah, you gotta be dedicated in this business. Very dedicated. Once you get to the top level, you can kind of cool off a little bit. Like Seth and Swag, they can post like every month or every few months because they're big. But when you're at the lower level, you gotta post more often. You know, it's just the name of the game. Injured Jiraiya too. Yep. Would love your collab with Seth sometime. Yeah, I gotta get in his circle. If I were to debate 6 again and it goes well, I beat him or it's very contentious, it'd be possible probably to get in his circle. And I would say I am on that level. Not to brag, but I'm on the level where I would contend with 6, if not beat him. So with prep time, that is. Despite my L to him the first time. This channel is amazing. Appreciate it, brother. You know, just keep going at it. Appreciate it. What would you want to debate 6 about? It'd have to be something that we both have knowledge on and something that's contentious, you know. You gotta pick your battles wisely. I'm not gonna just debate some bullshit that he knows way more about and that I'm not prepared for. You know, it's gotta be something that, as far as knowledge, or on an even playing field, prep time, or on an even playing field, shit like that. It's gonna go right this time. So, if you were to ever collab with Swagger 6, what topic would you want it to be about? I wouldn't even mind a Dragon Ball topic, you know, so maybe a narrative analysis. Power scaling, I mean, that's fun too. I've done so many, and I know their takes on basically everything. Maybe a narrative analysis on Dragon Ball or a certain character, or maybe Naruto as well. Something like that. In the foreseeable future, once I get my foot in the door. So. Your thoughts about taking away free will, especially with relative to the Naruto verse. So, the whole premise of Madara's sense of justice was the remover of free will, right? The remover of free will to achieve perfect peace. That's what Madara described it as, and a perfect heaven for every single individually within their own respective perspective and minds with the infinite Tsukuyomi. I think free will is necessary. I don't think no single such set individual should have the right to remove free will, despite the possibility of world peace. You know, especially in the real world. So let's talk about the real world where the infinite Tsukuyomi isn't possible, at least not now. I mean, not even technologically speaking, it's not possible. No individual should have the right to do that. It's tyrannical, you know. Someone with a god complex would want that. It's tyrannical. Definitely tyrannical. I mean, we've seen what happens when people try to do that. Communism, for example, right? Communism, the Soviet Union, China. It doesn't work because humans instinctually want their freedom. They want the ability to have opportunity. They want to be able to compete. To compare us to animals, not in a bad way, not in an intrinsic sense, but we are built to compete. We're built to become the best versions of ourselves, right? So if we take away that free will, you're removing that choice, and that's tyrannical. And I would say immoral. I know that's debatable, but I would say it's immoral. So what Madara did is immoral. Yes, in that verse, there was going to be perfect peace theoretically, but no one should have the right to choose, right? You know what would be moral? Is if he gave each person a choice to go into the infinite Tsukuyomi or not. That would be morally righteous, right? Obviously, he can't do that because it affects the whole world. But let's say, for the sake of argument, if that was possible, that would be okay. Every person has a choice. Do you want your free will or not? Do you want perfect peace? or do you want free will and a chance to improve? That's more morally righteous. Let's see. You got a favorite Power Rangers series? From what I do remember, I think RPM maybe, or Mystic Force. They had some like dope ass face masks. The Mystic Force was pretty dope. I think that's what it was called. Mystic Force or RPM. One of my favorites. I used to watch that shit as a kid for sure. Madara's Peace or Sasuke's Revolution? If you're asking what was more intriguing, Madara's Peace by far. I would say he was much less selfish in comparison. They were both selfish. They were both had a god complex, but Madara's Peace was more understandable. Sasuke's Revolution was just straight up tyrannical. He was going to force people to kneel to him, right, through the means of force. So Madara's Peace is more understandable, I'd say, than Sasuke's Revolution, for sure. What would you like to live under? Now, the U.S. system of government, right, is a pretty good system. Is it perfect? No. There's definitely probably corruption involved. It's inevitable. Corruption will always exist in an imperfect world. But there's balance between the powers, right, and the people. Checks and balances between the branches of government. A judicial system that keeps the executive and legislative in check. A legislative system that keeps the judicial system in check. And then they keep the executive system in check. Arguably the most powerful because of the president. It's very fair. Now, is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. As far as society, you have the choice and the ability to improve yourself, right? It's not communist, it's not socialist. There are some socialist aspects that I think would be okay, right? Like education. Everyone is entitled to it, especially a child, right? They should be. So there has to be a combination with there being more capitalism than anything. I think capitalism is the closest to fair, at least that I know of. A democratic capitalist state with some socialism, slight socialism mixed in there, mostly for children, since children can't prove shit yet, right? They should have free education, shit like that. I mean, even then, taxpayers' money is what pays it anyway, right? So, who are the most flawed? Let's see here. Have you ever went on Jokes Battle Wiki? I haven't. I've heard of it though. I've only been on there for a couple times. Family Guy Chicken versus Part 1 Sakura. Fuck Sakura. I'd say shit, the chicken. Family Guy Chicken. Who are the most flawed ideology in Naruto? Flawed? If you want to be extremely specific, probably Orochimaru. Being an asshole just for the sake of gaining knowledge and power. Probably him. Hidan. The guy's fucking sadistic and psychotic. Gaara Part 1. Yep. But if we're talking about like understandable ideologies, what was the most flawed? You could say Sasuke or Pain. Because in theory, everyone has an ideology, right? Just some of them are respected and recognized, right? Communism, socialism, capitalism, a democratic republic, you know. But psychotic pieces of shit have their own ideology too. It's to satisfy their own selfish nature. That's an ideology too. It's a narcissistic one, but it's still one. He don't epitomize a cultist. Exactly. Right. That's an ideology. To a fundamentalist degree. Extremely fundamentalist. You're willing to kill people for your such said ideology. So, Pain arc or War arc narratively? I'd say the Pain arc. Narratively? Pain arc. Overall, I know the ending was kind of shitty, but the War arc's ending was shitty too with Kaguya. The shit was shitty. So I would say the Pain arc. Aesthetically, the War arc. I mean, there's a shitload of battles, legendary shinobi, bunch of crazy good shit. So, but Pain against Naruto, narratively, is arguably the best moment in Naruto. It was legendary. So, the dialogue, the ideological clash that took place, it was legendary. Up until the point where you got talked no jutsu, obviously. You had no conviction. You got flipped like a switch, which was bullshit. But, yeah. But the War arc, same shit. Kaguya's punk ass comes out, ruins Madara's lore. Like, what the fuck is this? You know? How come Tendo looked 25 when he died at like 16? Probably because of the piercings. But yeah. Clash Ideologies was the best thing in Pain Arc. Yep. Yahiko at least. Yeah. Those fucking piercings added like not 10 years on his age. How hard is Naruto getting Hunter x Hunter? I'm not familiar with Hunter x Hunter, so I wouldn't be able to answer that, but I hear Hunter x Hunter doesn't scale that high and that Naruto washes, but I'm not familiar with it. That's all I've just heard it from like Seth and shit and Six that Naruto washes. But I'm not knowledgeable on Hunter x Hunter. Alright, folks. Hunter x Hunter's yeah, I heard narratively is really, really good. I've heard that many times. Where does Naruto stand in Bleach? Right now, it's hard to kind of gauge Bleach's abilities. I mean, like the people in Bleach, like Ichigo and shit, because I'm early into it. I've seen him destroy mountains, buildings, but then again, that probably doesn't represent their damage potential, right? Their attack potency. It doesn't represent that, right? Because they're attacking a certain location. They're attacking another individual that can tank such said attack potency. So it doesn't necessarily reflect that they can. Oh, you can only destroy buildings, not necessarily. So for me, it's hard to quantify at this point what they're capable of. But I have to get more into finish the manga or the anime, read the literature, any other literature like data books if those exist. Then I could probably give a better answer. What is not? Which Ninja Turtle wins a battle royale? I'm not really familiar with them. I know there's different colored face masks or the little fucking things that they put. I really can give an answer. I know one name, Donatello, I think is one of their names. I'm not too familiar with Ninja Turtles. Where would you scale the strength of manga novel Shishui? Novel Shishui is stronger than manga. Well, not novel. Let me compare anime to manga Shishui. Manga Shishui is stronger than anime. Anime got fucked up by Danzo without Hashirama cells or Sharingans. He got blitzed and his eye got ripped out. In the novel or manga, I believe. In the novel, that was where he was poisoned by the Aburame clan, if I'm not mistaken. So you could assume he was too much of a threat for Danzo to take on because he had to get him poisoned first. So that one's probably stronger than the one in the anime. So haven't started Bleach. Should I? Yeah, I would say so. It's good enough, and avoid the fillers as well. I don't know why I've avoided Bleach till now. Yeah, I have as well. Alright, folks. I know I said 10 minutes like 20 minutes ago, but now I'll say 10 minutes. Unless people donate, I'll stay longer. One Piece must watch too. Yeah, definitely. I know it's very long. It's very, very long, but I heard it's very good. There's many, many fans for it. And like Naruto, there are toxic fans that power scale wank them to another level. Again, I'm not knowledgeable in One Piece, but from what I've heard, Naruto does that. Dragon Ball fans do that. It's always going to happen. Astra. Let's see what other questions are here. How strong would Yajirobe get if he was a Saiyan? You mean Jirobo? One Piece. Where's fan base art? Naruto, My Hero, One Piece. Yeah, I agree. Naruto's definitely up there. A lot of fucking dumbass fucking fans. Some put him at multiversal. It's irrefutable. Like, fuck no, it's not irrefutable. Shut the fuck up. Yajirobe. Oh, okay. If he had... Let's see. I would assume it would be quite high. But then again, you'd have to assess what level of Saiyan is he, right? Is he like a is he an upper class Saiyan like Vegeta was? Is he a lower class Saiyan like Goku? The Goku's kind of an exception, right? Because he ended up being stronger than Vegeta. That matters as well. Yeah, so that depends. My Hero fan base make me embarrassed. Yeah, I'm not familiar with it, but I know it's pretty well liked. You think Saiyans are strong without their tails? Maybe because because the tails make them go into that state, and it kind of limits progression, at least from my estimation. So I would say maybe, yeah. Is Eight Gates guy the most overrated in the casual Naruto community? He's up there. Eight Gates guy. Who else is up there? Madara. He's pretty wanked. People think three-eyed Madara could beat fucking Ishiki. Fuck no. They think he can beat Kaguya? Fuck no. Who else is up there? Yeah, those two are really wanked. Eighth Gate guy, Madara, Jubidara, three-eyed Madara. Kakuzu. Well, that's not the majority of the fandom. It's just a select few dumbasses that believe Kakuzu can beat Pain, which is fucking stupid as shit. So yeah, he's one of them. Prime Kimimaro versus fourth rate Kage. Let's see. Prime Kimimaro versus fourth rate Kage. I know he had that feat against during the war arc. He had that feat against Casey and Naruto. I do know that, but I would say that's not a full power Naruto. I'd probably say the fourth rate Kage. By the way, folks, this is random. I just thought about it. If you guys ever want to clip stuff of the podcasts, you can. And if I see someone that's consistent with it, we can talk about some things. That's just if you want to. It's just an idea. Cause I see people do that with their podcasts. They clip parts, put them up, shit like that. Just an idea. If any of you guys have it, before I do it myself. Yeah. Eight Gates guy and Demon's Kakashi probably stronger than current Naruto and Sasuke. Exactly, that's what people say. Current Naruto and Sasuke. Eight Gates guy and Demon's Kakashi. The Boruto Kage versus the Five Kage Summit. The Boruto Kage washed. I mean, they're fucking with Otsutsuki. Stronger than anyone. Not even remotely close. Naruto and base took blows from Momo and was reacting to him, so I don't think Eight Gates guy can overpower them. Pain versus Five Kage. I think Pain would do very well. Especially Prime Pain. Yeah. Shubaku Tensei's the whole area, they're all fucked. Unless Onuki can theoretically particle style the epicenter. I don't know if that's possible. Theoretically. Alright. See here. Alright, folks, 2 more questions here. The Boruto Kage is above Hashirama. Unfortunately, it is highly likely, yes. They're fucking with Otsutsuki. Hashirama didn't even think he could fuck with Jubito. I mean, it's unfortunate. He couldn't even fuck with Jubito. We see fucking Kurotsuchi punching Kinchiki in the fucking face. And Chonchuro using his, forgot what jutsu he used against Kinchiki. It is what it is. It is what it is. Fucking Gaara, at least in the anime, tying up fused Momo. In the manga he didn't. He got his ass whooped. But, yeah. Concurrent Naruto take on the 4 Kages. It's kind of tough to gauge his power right now. He hasn't really done shit. I don't know. I don't think so. I would say no. Not now. At least from what I'm guessing. I can only guess and speculate. You think Konoha will come back? No. I don't think so. Definitely not back into Naruto. If Sasuke got Hashirama cells to repair his arm, would that repair his Rinnegan? Theoretically, that should work. Right, that should give him a Rinnegan. Yeah. I guess he can take the Kages 1v1. Yeah, that I believe. He probably could. 1v1? Yeah. Most likely. Alright, folks, 3 more minutes. Shall depart. Unless someone wants to do the favor and donate and keep it going, then I shall continue. And once again, hit the like button, gets us up in the algorithm. The more likes, the higher in the algorithm we go. The army keeps growing. What if Sasuke killed Naruto in part 1 Valley of the End? How would the village react? Well, if he killed Naruto, the Nine Tails would die as well. I think Kakashi would intervene. He'd probably want to not avenge Naruto, but take care of the situation for him, out of respect for him. I think Kakashi would probably make an effort. I think he would be the next guy up. Naruto and Sasuke won't get any more power. Yeah, because it's the passing of the torch. They're not meant to. Narratively, it seems that they're done. They're going to be tossed to the side. Or killed, literally. Or figuratively. We'll see. Top 3 ninja who should have been reanimated in the war arc as well. Jiraiya, Shisui. Who else was out there? Fugaku, maybe? Would have been cool. 5. There's 2 more. Who else? Maybe Izunu Uchiha and Hashirama's brother. The one that got killed by the Senju clan. Do you think it's better to kill Naruto and Sasuke rather than nerfing them more? Yeah, I think that would be more admirable, more honorable than having them become fucking useless fodder that are just sitting ducks. You know, I think it'd be better to kill them off with a noble death. Go out on their shield on top. You know, I think that's more honorable. Sakuno, oh, that's another one I forgot about. Yeah, he'd be a good one. So yeah, I do think it's better to kill them. I know most people are going to stop watching Boruto, but it's not about Naruto and Sasuke no more. We got to accept that. It's not about them anymore. It's about Kawaki and Boruto, despite how we fucking feel. So Stage Mode Naruto is still stronger than Stage Mode Koji and Delta. I don't know about that, because Delta was swapping hands with 6-pass Naruto in his KCM form. So I don't know if he's stronger than Delta than Stage Mode Naruto. I highly doubt that. Or Koji, who seems to be superior to Delta. So I doubt it. Especially in the manga. Alright, folks, about 3 more questions. I think we're almost at the 3-hour mark here. The leaf during Minato's time was too strong. Yeah, Minato, Hiruzen, younger Hiruzen, Fugaku, shit. Itachi as a teen. Fucking studs. There's a lot of them. Who had the most mental fortitude in Naruto besides Naruto? Probably Itachi. Never broke. Never folded. Kakashi as well. Later, early on, yeah, he was a little conflicted with his conviction, but later on, Kakashi, Itachi, Minato, never broke. But he had some doubts. He did have some doubts after the fact as an Edo. Probably Itachi. Alright, folks, a couple more questions. Kakashi as well. He went through Tsukiyomi and also, yep, tough motherfucker, tell you that. Is it Sharingan or Rinnegan better? Or more practical? I feel like I tend to lean towards the Rinnegan. I mean, it's highly implied that it's a superior dojutsu. It takes up more chakra, it seems like, but it's better, it's more powerful. Sharingan could be possibly more practical. You got precog, you got genjutsu, you probably have your own specific ability. If you have MS specifically. Yeah. It's 2 sides of the coin. You coming live next week, same time. I'm not sure about the same time day, but it's highly likely that I do come back. And I'm thinking about doing a double stream. I'm thinking of doing this kind of stream, and then bringing my co-host Saturday, next Saturday, possibly doing a call-in on Saturday, possibly. So next week, weekday, I'm planning on doing one of these again. Saturday, it's possible that I do a call-in. Right, that's gonna be more just call-ins and shit like that, Q&As, shit like that. It'll be different. So I'm thinking of doing double stream next week, possibly. And people who super chat would be the ones first and get more time in the call-in. So who should have died instead of Neji? Sakura or Tenten or fucking Kiba. Fuck all those people. Tenten or Rock Lee. Kiba only had 2 attacks in his arsenal anyways. Yeah, that guy's a bitch. Kiba's a bitch, man. Always bitching about being Hokage. You're fucking fodder the whole time. It's fucking dumbass. And Sakura fucking whining when she's a simp. It's crazy. See if there's any last questions here. Bro, chill. Yeah. Fuck Kiba, man. That guy's a fucking pussy. Beta ass soy boy. Sakura should have never gotten with Sasuke. Exactly. How the fuck does he want her now? Because fucking Naruto whipped your ass? Like, now you fucking want her? Get the fuck out of here, man. That's bullshit. What did she do for you besides whine? She didn't do shit for you. Naruto's the one that whipped your ass back into fucking the good side. But then all of a sudden, you love Sakura? That's fucking stupid, man. Sasuke would have impregnated Karin, man. Karin did more than fucking Sakura ever did. That bitch saved his life. What did Sakura do? Nothing. Karin let him bite her many times. And then fucking Sakura just fucking whined. Like a bitch. Like, nah, man. Fuck that shit. Do you think we'll ever see the Tenseigan again? Maybe. Maybe as Boruto learns his abilities with the karma. It's possible. Or a little more story about the White Fang. White Fang's a stud, yeah. What clan do you want more explanation in Naruto? Maybe the Nara clan, because I really like Shikamaru and his dad and shit. Maybe them more. I mean, there's some explanation. I think there could be more. Do you think Boruto Team 7 is getting way too overpowered? Absolutely. Specifically Boruto. The motherfucker's 100% Otsutsuki now. It's fucking insane. Naruto took hundreds of episodes to master his power with Kurama. Karin in part 2 is way more annoying to me than part 2. I see what you're saying, but Sakura never did shit for Sasuke. Never. Just a fucking nuisance. At least Karin gave him some chakra, you know. Yeah, she was like simping, learning his dick the whole time, but at least you helped out somehow. Tenseigan is weird and vague. I agree. Alright, folks, I think that'll wrap it up. We hit over 3 hours as well. I appreciate you guys coming in. Appreciate all the donations. So last announcements. There's a video coming after this, a reaction video. I plan on streaming twice next week. I'm going to see if that's possible. One of these, and then on next Saturday I plan on doing a call-in, if that's possible, with a co-host to help me out with all that shit. And you guys can call in, talk shit, whatever. And yeah, see you guys soon. Again, ask me topics before stream so I can answer those in depth. That way I look into them. On here it's off the top of the dome, which isn't a bad thing, but ask pre-live stream questions in my Discord or in the comments here, whatever, so I can prepare for those. But yeah, folks, thanks for coming in. Hit the like button one more time. Hit the sub button if you haven't, and think about becoming a member. I have a couple of members. Shout out to you guys, and you'll see exclusive content and get exclusive privileges. So thanks for coming in, folks, and I'll catch you next time, folks. Peace out.